Okie dokie. There we go. All right. All right. It's been a while. I'm a little anxious that I'm gonna mess up the recording because it's been so long. I don't remember. I don't want to fuck this up, but it should be fine. All right. Hello, Manny. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. I watched a lot of shit, including the movies that we need to watch, and most of it somehow connects to what we're gonna watch. Did you watch anything else?
Caught up to Attack on Titan. Demon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like halfway through Jobless Reincarnation.
Okay. So for the next episode, is Jobless gonna be the one that we watch? Okay.
I got I'm like halfway through the book as well.
Really? That's really cool. Wow. When did you start it?
And apparently it's been it got adapted by Junji Ito as well.
Really? Wow. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Okay. Dope. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Reading school, I guess.
Reading is cool. All right. I guess we'll just get into it then. Let me say what I have been watching. 'Cause it's been a couple things. Some random ass movies. We talked about The Shining. I watched that briefly. Have you ever heard of, this isn't really connected to what we're going to talk about today, but have you heard of the Bandersnatch Black Mirror thing?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, have you heard of like the Telltale games, like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us?
Yeah.
They made a Black Mirror episode that's basically a Telltale game on Netflix. So like you go on Netflix and you click play, and it's like you choose like what the characters are gonna do, kind of like The Walking Dead or something. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And the episode itself is about a game developer who's like making like a RPG where it's like, if you do this, you're gonna go down this pathway, and if you do that, you'll go down that pathway. And it's kind of meta because that's what you're doing. Like you are literally doing that in the thing, and it's very like Matrixy, where it's like, what matters, free will or fate? Like what matters to the main character, what he wants to do or what you, the player, want to do? But now that I'm red pilled and I watch The Matrix and I understand the answer now, I'm playing the game fully aware of what the game is trying to tell me, and I'm like, fate matters, not free will. I will control everything this character does. And it can get pretty dark depending on your choices. Like there are some choices that make no fucking sense, but you can do them, like kill your dad. Killing your dad doesn't do anything, but you kill your dad, and it's like it causes this whole other plot line. Everything goes in this direction, and every single time you play the game, you're gonna get an ending saying like, because the main character is developing a video game, and at the end of each like pathway, it's like the rating he gets on his game. So at the end of the pathway, if you didn't do it like correctly, quote unquote correctly, the game's gonna be like, not a very good game, 2 out of 5. He just didn't do Bandersnatch right. So it's meta. It's like telling you as a player, like, you fucked up, because you want to get a good grade. But I understand now, in order to do good when making the game about the branching pathways, the character has to understand that nothing matters and that he has to submit to fate. So when I kill the dad, the character in the thing is like, what do you want me to do? And he like looks up at the sky, and then a choice pops up like chop him up or bury him. And obviously you got to pick chop him up because that's the more brutal one. And then you pick chop him up, and the character in the show goes, really, man? Fine. And then you see him chopping up his dad. And then at the end, it's like, wow, Bandersnatch, masterpiece, 5 out of 5. Did you hear the creator went insane and chopped up his dad? Crazy. Yeah, but dope ass game. So It felt like The Matrix like taught me how to enjoy this little movie, because I played this in high school when it first came out, and I was like, that ending sucked. I don't feel like replaying the whole movie just so I can get a better ending. Which is really annoying that you have to like watch the same scenes over and over again if you want to like get the better one. So yeah, that was fun, and I just thought that tied in with the Matrix conversation. And I was very proud of myself. I was like, oh my god, I fucking won the game. I won Bandersnatch. So there was that. Yeah, it is really cool. Then I watched. I only want to mention the ones that are important. In the last episode, when we were talking about Matrix, I shit on Speed Racer, and I was like, the Wachowskis made Speed Racer, so, you know, Matrix Resurrections is like so bad. But I never actually saw Speed Racer, and I wasn't happy that I said that. So I watched it, and Speed Racer is a flawed movie, but it is infinitely better than Matrix Resurrections. I rescind my statement that Speed Racer is bad.
Speed Racer like the Japanese thing?
Speed Racer is a old like 60s anime, but the Wachowskis made a live action like movie.
Yeah, it came out in the 2000s, right? The movie they made?
Yeah.
And at the end, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't like they reveal like that someone didn't die or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember watching it. I remember I watched the movie as a kid, and my whole life I was like, I don't remember shit about the movie, but I remember that they tell you something at the end.
The ending is the most crazy, insane. It's impossible. It was impossible for me not to laugh. I was like, oh my god, because what
was it like? Let me guess. It was like his brother didn't die, right?
Yes. The entire movie is centered around Speed Racer's relationship with his older brother, who's also into racing, and the movie implies there's a character named X, and he's wearing like a goofy like Power Rangers outfit, and he has like a mask on the whole movie. So you're thinking as the audience member, oh, X is his older brother, because when you go on Wikipedia and you look up Speed Racer, it literally says like the first thing on Wikipedia is like, Speed Racer likes to race. His older brother X, the bad guy, is really his older brother, but he doesn't know. So it's like, I guess it's in the anime. So I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, they're gonna do what the anime did. But then there's a reveal like, no, the guy who's X isn't his brother, and his brother really did die in that car crash 20 years ago. So I was like, oh my god, that's so novel, like, and creative. I'm so surprised they did that. And then in the final race, like, X is like watching like Speed Racer in the final battle, and he's like, yeah, Speed, yeah. And then at the very, very end of the movie, after the battle finishes, X's partner is like, you sure you don't want to tell your family what really happened? And then it does this like flashback sequence where he gets like plastic surgery to change his face so that no one knows who he is. It's so fucking funny. And it's like, why did you reveal that it's his brother after the fact? Like, what significance does that hold besides being goofy and silly? And I don't know. It's fun. It's funny. Like, I think that's pretty ironically like cool, while also being somewhat kinda in a weird anime way unironically cool. It's a very funny movie at times, and you know, it tries to have the goofiness of Matrix, but it goes a little bit too far with it sometimes. But sometimes it does work where like the goofiness and the seriousness are on like the same level. So the movie is honestly kind of fun, and I would.
How was the visuals?
Fucking amazing. Like, actually amazing. Like, have you ever seen Spy Kids 3?
Yeah.
It has that tier level of animation, which is not amazing, but it's so unapologetically like, yo, we know this doesn't look real, but we're gonna kick it up to like 11. And I can't explain how the directing is until you see it. The way it's directed and shot is very goofy, but also very thoughtful. So that honestly carried the movie. Like, every race scene was fantastic. And I'm bringing this up because it will somewhat come into play when we talk about Wind Rises. But yeah, Speed Racer is good. It's way better than Resurrections. It's insane because like Speed Racer looks like, in that way with the race scenes, the thoughtfulness towards the races is on par with the thoughtfulness towards the Matrix movies. So I watched that and I was like, what? Like, this isn't like Resurrections. This is actually like trying. And it's succeeding. Like, the races are fucking fantastic. They're really good. So that's that. And then I watched this is not really related to anything we're talking about, but I watched a documentary called Life Itself about a popular film critic. Do you know who Roger Ebert is?
No.
Okay. Roger Ebert was like the most popular movie criticism person ever. Like, before YouTubers existed, he was like the guy. And he had a TV show with like one of his friends where him and his friend talked about movies. And that was like the show. And it was really popular and everyone loved it. And it was like a documentary on him and his life and how he thought about movies and stuff. So it's basically what we do, essentially. We sit here, we talk about movies and shit. And I'm not going to go into it too much, but I'll say this, Manny. It is the first time I have ever cried, like really hardcore bawling, in years. I have not cried in, I think, over like 5 years. The last time I remember crying was when my mom said she was going to take away my Crunchyroll. That was the last time I cried. And this movie was very good. I connected a lot with what I do here in this call, and when it comes to YouTube in general, and when it comes to movies in general, and how I think about them. And it was very emotionally resonant with me, and I would recommend it purely given that you do this as well. I think it's something that you would enjoy. So yeah, there's that. And then I watched a movie called Tick Tick. I didn't watch this, actually. I tried to watch a movie called Tick Tick Boom. Have you heard of that? That's like a new movie. It's with Andrew Garfield, and do you know who Yeah, I know. It's with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's the guy who made Hamilton, and he's like a musical person. He like writes all the songs for like the modern Disney movies. And Tick Tick Boom is a musical, and it's an autobiography. So I didn't finish it, but that will come into play when we talk about Wind Rises. I will bring that up. And then I watched My Neighbor Totoro in a packed theater with a bunch of people who were there to see My Neighbor Totoro. And I'll probably talk about that before we get into anything else. And I also watched The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, which is the documentary on HBO Max about Studio Ghibli. If you like, when you scroll down, you'll see like the two documentaries. I saw The Neverending Man, Hayao Miyazaki, when it came out, so I didn't watch that again, but I watched this one for the first time, which will come into play when we talk about Wind Rises. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in that documentary. It's basically just about Miyazaki and like Studio Ghibli when they're making Wind Rises. That's basically what the documentary is. But yeah, so I guess I will start.
Did Miyazaki cry at the end?
Yeah, he did. He actually did. It was like a big thing. He was like, "I've never cried at my own movie before, guys. That shit was crazy. Good job." And it was very heartwarming. There's a lot to say about Wind Rises when we get to it. When it comes to like that documentary. So, all right, I guess I'll start with Totoro. Ready? Okay. So, when talking about this, I'm going to reference our old conversations. So what we talked about, I listened back to the episode 4 when we talked about Totoro when you watched it, and I'm going to reference Ponyo, since Ponyo is very similar to Totoro in many ways, and I spoke negatively about Ponyo. And it's important to go back and forth when talking about Totoro. So I watched Totoro, rewatched it, and this time I enjoyed it a lot. I liked it a lot more than the first time I watched it. When we talked about it like 4 months ago on that old episode, you were saying like, oh, it didn't impact me that much. And I was saying like, yeah, it didn't impact me that much either. But knowing me, if I watched it today, I might feel differently than when I felt when I was 18. And fucking 2020 Alley was right on the money. That is how I felt. And I will also admit that being in a movie theater with a bunch of people that were excited to see it really did shape the experience in a positive way. People were laughing at like everything, and I was like, oh my god, like I didn't even see that as a joke before, but now recontextualized in a crowd, like I kind of see like what the intention of this scene is supposed to be. It was a very lively setting, and it really bolstered the experience for me. So I will admit that did come into play. If I watched it by myself, would I have enjoyed it as much? Honestly, I don't know. But if I watch it from now on, I will think about this movie theater experience, and I will think about how positively it affected me. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the movie, and I'll just go through my notes one by one. All my notes are centered around what we were saying in the previous episodes. So the reason why I enjoyed the movie, like you were saying, like way back when, that the movie isn't really about Totoro, and like there really isn't like a story, there really isn't like a structure, you know. The characters don't really go through a main arc, and you are absolutely right about all those things. But for me, the enjoyment that I derived was from not Totoro, but the two main little girl characters, the little sister and the older sister. And when we were talking about Ponyo, I was like, you know, in order to like Ponyo, you have to find Ponyo cute and charming the whole movie, and it's impossible to do that because Ponyo's just she's very one note. She doesn't do a lot of things, so she can't carry the movie for an hour and a half, right? These characters kind of can, because they do different shit. There's a very interesting dynamic between a 10-year-old like little girl and like a toddler. There's a lot of really interesting interactions that they have that breeds a lot of variety. You know, in the beginning, they're hanging out, they're running around the house like, look at the broken house, da, 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 da. And then there are moments where, you know, the little girl is like crying, and the older sister's like, hey, stop fucking crying. And the other girl's like, no. And then the older girl starts crying after that. And I think Totoro is better because it never gets stale. It's always doing something new, whether it's with the two main characters or whether it's when Totoro pulls up. Which, another criticism you made with Totoro is that Totoro's only in the movie for like 6 minutes. And you're damn right, he is only in the movie for 6 minutes. But the reason why that works is because he doesn't overstay his welcome. Ponyo is in the movie the whole time, and it gets old. You get tired of Ponyo. She's not as cute. When she does magical shit, it doesn't really matter because you've kind of seen everything that she can do by the third act. But Totoro, he pulls up so infrequently that whenever you do see him, it's like, hey, it's Totoro time. Let's go. So Totoro is cool. And you're right. The movie isn't really about him. It's kind of about the two main little girls. And to the extent that I genuinely feel like Totoro didn't have to be in the movie. You said that last time too, where it's like Totoro didn't even have to be in the movie. It wasn't even about him. And you're absolutely right. But his inclusion was a welcome one. You know, when it comes to the dynamic between an older sibling character and a younger sibling, that is even more evident that it works in like Grave of the Fireflies. Because Grave of the Fireflies is basically what I just said, where it's like a story about an older character and a younger character just kind of hanging out. And Grave of the Fireflies has like a really big conflict, and there's like, you know, a lot of like, there is a story in that one, but for the most part, it's just kind of these two characters just hanging out, vibing. And I feel like Totoro is the exact same thing, but with a little bit of magical shit sprinkled in. And I think the sprinkled in magical shit is handled a lot better than Ponyo. So let's see. I'm just looking through my notes really quick. And you know, we were also saying, like, you know, what's the meaning of Totoro? Is there something that I'm not getting? Da 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 da. Right? Totoro is Miyazaki's movies, especially by this point, have really proven that sometimes he just kind of he said something in the documentary that I wrote down that really is kind of telling of how a lot of his movies are. This is what Miyazaki said in the movie. Like, this is like something that I wrote down. I quote, "Some of the staff is really baffled by my movies. I really am not going off any guidelines. The movies write themselves through me. I've had staff tell me they had no idea what's going on in my films. When we were making Spirited Away, even I didn't understand it. The way I see it, we may never understand them. The world isn't simple enough to understand in words." So, I think that's very telling of the fact that Miyazaki, like, sometimes his movies feel boring because he's not going on a structure. He's not going on a strict story. He's just kind of writing what he emotionally feels in the moment. And if you can resonate with that thing, that whatever he's trying to do, then you're going to have a good time. For me personally, Kiki's Delivery Service was that movie that really clicked with me. Like, all of his movies are basically like that, but Kiki's was the one where I was like, I get this. Howl's was the one where I get this. And Spirited Away was the one where I didn't get it. Princess was the one where I didn't get it. Still liked Princess because, you know, blood and violence. But Totoro was also one where I didn't get it, but now I kind of get it. Because I'm older. I can resonate with, like, being a kid and having, like, an older sibling and, you know, going to a friend's house that you've never been to before and running around being like, what's that room? Oh my God, new stairs. Da-da-da-da. Whoa, what's going on? Like, they
run too fast.
Yeah. Speed.
Very, very fast people.
Yeah.
And every Ghibli movie, they're like blazing fast.
Yeah. Miyazaki likes when people run. He likes,
especially Mononoke. They're so fast.
Yeah, movie. I know. It's intentional in Mononoke though. Like, it's the whole point. But to say, if you were to ask me, like, what's the point of fucking Totoro? I would say that it's mainly about just the value of, like, the innocence of, like, childhood. Like, it's about these two characters and how they're children and they're just trying to go through this, like, kind of difficult time where their mom's not around, and they're happy, but they also get sad sometimes. It's about just the range of emotions that you feel during that time, and whether that resonates with you or not is it's kind of a luck of the draw. Like, sometimes it will, or sometimes it won't, and it kind of did in the same way that Kiki's resonated with me. So that's what I liked about that one. And I also wanted to mention the ending with, like, the mom being sick and the little girl. One thing I really like about Totoro compared to Ponyo, we were talking about Ponyo and we criticized how Ponyo, like, oh, there's the fucking dad and there's the fish mom, but, like, they don't do anything until the end. And there's all this implied importance, like, hey, here's the story in the background, but watch them chill, like, for the most part, right? Miyazaki wants them to chill. He wants to show you the hangout shit. He doesn't want to show you the story stuff. But why even do the story stuff if it's not going to amount to anything? You might as well just not have a fish dad. Totoro doesn't really have a story for most of it up until that final bit near the end. So the movie isn't baiting you. The movie isn't lying to you, saying that there is a story. And it's much more honest about, like, yeah, these characters are just going to kind of hang out for an hour. And if you like it, then you like it. And if you don't, then you don't. And I respect that a lot more than Ponyo, where it's just like you kind of have this more interesting thing happening in the background. Totoro doesn't have anything more interesting happening in the background until the very end, where it becomes the main focus of the movie. Even though it doesn't amount to anything, that doesn't matter, because you you never really cared about like whether her mom was gonna die or not. That's not what you wanted to see by the end of the movie. You kind of want to see them chill and be happy and vibe. And then at the end, when it's revealed, like, don't worry, bro, they're still gonna chill, they're still gonna be happy, they're still gonna vibe. It's like the best ending that you could ask for. So those were some comparisons with Ponyo. Let me see if there's anything else. I also wrote down. I just wrote down a lot of the points that I made in Ponyo, and wrote a little thing for Totoro right after. Bear with me. Okay. I'm very happy I wrote this down. We talked about how Ponyo is a baby movie and how Ponyo is like made for like 6-year-olds. It's not even made for adults. Like if you're older, you can't derive a lot of value from it because it's not really saying anything. Totoro is a movie made for adults. It's a movie with kids, but it is geared towards an adult audience because, like, I think if you're a kid, like, I think there's so many scenes where it's like where the older character and the younger character bounce off each other's in ways that adults are really going to value a lot more than kids. Like, you know, the part where the kid, the little girl is crying, and then the older sister's like, yo, stop crying. And they're like, no. And then the older sister starts crying. I think that's something that, like, me personally, I resonated with a lot, like, watching it. And there were a lot of other scenes where, like, it was like, you know, the little sister goes to the older sister's school, and the grandma's like, she couldn't stop crying. She just said she wanted you. Like, you know, I've been through that as that kid being the one crying while also being that older sibling where the little sister is crying and you're like, what's wrong? Like, what's the fucking matter? And they just like want to hang out with you. They don't want to hang out with anyone else. So I feel like it was kind of geared towards an older audience, unlike Ponyo. It's everything that Ponyo wasn't, basically. I just want to say that, like, basically everything I said in Ponyo, this movie doesn't really do. It's much better in, like, every way. And I guess that's it. I guess that's mostly what I wanted to say about Totoro. I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of the few Miyazaki movies that did resonate with me, and like clicked in the right way. This is in the same pantheon as like Kiki's and Howl's in like the fact, like, dude, I get it. It makes sense. So Totoro, certified hood classic. 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. And I also wanted to say, like, you know, I've said before, like, if a movie's only good in the theater, then it's not really good, is it? Because I say that about Spider-Man. So if that applies to Totoro, I have to really be conscious about my rating. Like, if I only enjoyed it because I saw it in the theater, is it a good movie? I'm struggling to answer that question right now. But regardless, I am going to love this movie because of that experience. And if I watch it again, I will always watch it through the framework of, I saw this in the theater. This is the appeal of, like, this scene. This was supposed to be a joke. This is supposed to be funny. This is supposed to put a smile on your face. And I think it will work. Because I don't think it's like Spider-Man where it's like, you know, they wait for the laugh. Like, I feel like if you're watching it by yourself in your house, you're still going to smile, like, when they do cute shit in the house. It's still going to have that kind of value. So I don't really think it's going to be that bad when I watch it the next time. I think it's still going to be pretty fun. But we'll see. Only time will tell. 7 out of 10. That's Totoro. All right. So let's see.
What theater did you watch this in?
I watched this at the Coolidge Corner Theater. So this is the art house theater that did Taxi Driver that one time, and they do artsy movies here and there, and it's kind of like a community in the city. So it was sold out because people really respect this theater, people really like it, and a lot of people will go to it when they do these one-time screenings for movies like this. So a lot of, like, I watched The Shining there as well. That was the one that I was talking about. That was also, like, really fun, and that was sold out. So, yeah, And they're gonna do Nausicaa in a couple months, so I'm gonna go watch Nausicaa in that theater again too.
In Brookline.
I think
Brooklyn.
Coolidge. Is it in Brooklyn? Is Brooklyn in Boston? Coolidge Corner Theater, Yeah, Brookline. Mm-hmm.
Brookline. Is it Brooklyn? Like, is it pronounced Brooklyn?
I don't know. I never knew there was a Brooklyn in Boston. I mean, in Massachusetts.
It's like fucking Worcester.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very fun theater. I would really like it if you went. I kept thinking to myself, fuck me. I wish Manny could be here with me and like experience the movie in this kind of setting. He might have enjoyed it a lot. So if you're ever in Massachusetts, consider going there.
Oh yeah, I'll love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's where I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey too. Like a lot of the movies that I tell you I see, I go there to watch. So yeah. All right. Which one do you want to start with? I'm not really sure. We can start with. I kind of want to do Grave of the Fireflies and Wind Rises back to back because those are both the war movies, and I feel like they bounce off each other very well if we want to talk about both of those. So, do you want to talk about Grave or do you want Castle?
Just get Castle. Yeah.
Okay. Castle is very much its own thing compared to Grave of the Fireflies and the other ones, and I've gone on record saying that this was my favorite Ghibli movie before we started this marathon. I said, and I've at that time I had seen Totoro, Spirited Away, Princess, Cat Returns, Howl's, and Kiki's, and then Castle in the Sky. Those were like the 7 Ghibli movies that I have seen, which are kind of the main ones, honestly, except for like Cat Returns, like the main Ghibli movies, and Ponyo. And Castle in the Sky was the one that resonated with me the most and that I enjoyed the most. I watched it at a very right place, right time in college where this kind of movie clicked with me a bunch. And now, did it work as much? Yes, it resonated with me just as much. But in the grand scheme of everything that we've watched before this, it does not click or does not work as well as other ones, but I still had a good time. This is the most anime of all the Ghibli movies. Like, this one is the most unapologetically like, we're going on an adventure and we're gonna fight the bad guy and this is the magic and I got a gun. So I honestly enjoy this one just because it feels the most actiony of them all. It feels like the stakes are so high. It's kind of like a JRPG, like Final Fantasy or something. Like the final level, the final mission, you go to the weird map that you saw off screen for so long, and it's like, oh my god, we're finally gonna travel to that location, fight the final boss. So I had a lot of fun in that sense. I love that she gives him a gun. It's like, in a JRPG, new weapon acquired. Like that's exactly what would have happened. This movie, I like it because of how actiony it is, and I really like the main themes of love, and I really like how they're handled in this movie, which I'll get into. But what did you think about it?
I thought the movie was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this. This is the first movie I watched out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it a while ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
To me, this movie is like on the same like tier of like what's the other movie?
Nausicaa?
No. Earthsea.
Really?
Kinda,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting.
Because I feel like this one's more actiony, but I feel like they're both kind of like adventure. Yeah. Not really as much as adventure in Earthsea, but
yeah,
really like actiony. I didn't like Mononoke, but I feel like I kind of put these in the same tier. You know what I mean? But I think this was more of an enjoyable watch.
Yes,
I think the whole concept of Laputa was way more interesting than anything Earthsea pulled off.
Yes, yeah. I think that a lot of people, and
This is the only one I didn't take notes on.
that's okay.
extensively.
That's okay. I took a lot of notes and I have a lot to say. I can understand if you feel like there's not a lot to say. I have questions, so I can steer this one. I'm surprised you say that it's in the same tier as Earthsea, because I guess it is. I can understand where you're coming from when you say that, but I felt like this one was a lot more quote unquote enjoyable than Earthsea. I mean, I like Earthsea a lot, but at least in reference to what most people would feel with Earthsea, where it's like, oh, that one was not very fun and there wasn't a lot going on. I feel like there is stuff constantly going on in this one. I do feel like it is very well paced, and it never takes like a breath. It never takes a break. It's like constantly going at it. So I'm surprised you say it's like Earthsea in that sense, but
This movie reminds me most of Earthsea out of every other one.
Yeah. That's cool. It's very interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the ending, like not the ending, but like the third act when they end Laputa, I feel like it was in the Earthsea castle and the dude was like the Earthsea bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
not
agree.
saying like they're like just.
I know you're not saying that in a bad way. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Earthsea.
Yeah. I do agree. It did kind of have an Earthsea bad guy where he was like, there's love sucks. Fucking the earth must die. And it's like, no, the love is light. So it's kind of the same thing.
I don't know. This one kind of has recency bias, but how did Castle in the Sky like end? What was like the last scene?
The last scene? I think it was just kind of them in the ship flying off. I don't remember the very last scene.
Yeah.
I've given this a lot of thought.
I love it. I really like the Earthsea ending.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like which one I like more, but the Earthsea ending was like.
The Earthsea ending was much more profound. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's the dragon.
Yeah. I think overall what Earthsea is saying is a lot more is the way it's saying it is a lot more interesting and a lot more thoughtful than how Castle in the Sky is saying it. Castle in the Sky is very much just like your average anime joint where like characters will run around, they'll fight something, and then they'll say their morals to the screen like love and earth and peace. You should have these values too, viewer. And then, they beat the bad guy. So it's very simple in that sense.
I feel like the first and second parts of Castle of Sky are better than Earthsea, but I feel like the final act,
right? I
think Earthsea has the edge on it.
Yeah, I really
like the initial like scene where they start like running, and the dad was like,
yeah, dude,
start fighting, and they run on the train tracks and everything's like blowing up and shit.
Yeah,
like that was cool. That was entertaining. But
major Porco vibes.
I don't know. I thought Laputa kind of let me down. I thought it was gonna be a bit more interesting.
Yeah, I know.
When you get there, it's like it's
I know.
kind
I
of
hyped it up. What's dead?
Like the whole like floating city. I thought it'd be like crazy.
Oh, you thought like there would be people in it?
It was like dead robots. Well, I know they explained it. There's some lore.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can understand. Yeah, I can understand that not being cool. I really liked that it was kind of more technologically advanced than like anything else, and I thought that the way the like, I don't know, I really liked how the guy basically could control the entire city with like the pearl, and he could like do whatever he wanted with it. And I thought the stakes got really high near the end when the boy was like fucking like walking on the bottom of it, like grabbing the vines and shit. Like I was like, oh my god, this is like a video game. This is fucking cool. And I thought it was so crazy when like he like is hanging on the edge of like the pipe that shoots out the robots. I was like, that's fucking cool as shit. So I understand where you're coming from. For me, it did kind of live up to my expectations for what I'd expect from a finale, because compared to everything else, I do feel like it does kind of up the stakes and pay off like everything that it's set up. You see the robot and you're like, oh my god, I wonder what the robot's place is like. And then you see the robot's place and it's fucking cool as shit, and it looks like it's from like a more modernized like world. So yeah, I did like that. Let's see. But I will say the first and second bit are very, very good. I give this movie a lot of credit in its writing. I think this movie is very, very, very well paced. I think that for an adventure movie, it feels varied. It doesn't feel like repetitive and like feels like it's doing the same thing over and over again. You might say the same thing about, you might say Tales can be like kind of treading the same ground for a little while, where it's like, oh, the dude is, you know, depressed and he's dealing with his problems like mentally, and it feels like they're kind of doing that for the whole first and like second half. But with this one, you know, they're on the Earth and they're running away from the spy people, and then they get captured by the spy people, and then they got to go save Lapida, or what's her name, Sheeta. They got to go save Sheeta, and then they're on the ship with the pirates, and now they're gonna go to Lapida. So I don't know, it's very, you know, you can section them off very like well, and I like I said, I like when they jump around. I like when it's a fucking adventure. I like when they do that. And they do that in this movie. It really resonates with me in that sense. So that really works for me. And the other reason why I like this movie is because, yes, it is very action-packed. Yes, it is very exciting. And there's a lot of, you know, planes and a lot of fighting and all that stuff. But usually Miyazaki won't do that. Miyazaki will have movies where it's kind of Totoro style, Kiki style, where they're just kind of hanging out and they're just kind of vibing, and it's just about how you resonate with the characters and watching these real people have real interactions, genuine human moments with each other. And Castle in the Sky, to me, does a really good job at being the human experience Miyazaki movie that he likes to make, while also being the fun, action-packed Miyazaki movie that he never makes anymore, but is deep down really good, but he just never like goes out of his way to do. And that's kind of why I fucking love this movie, because, you know, my goopy goblin gamer brain, it satiates that, where it's just like, you know, like cool shit is happening, but the relationship between these two main characters and the side characters with like the pirate woman and stuff, there's a lot of stuff in the movie that is never directly said or never directly communicated, and it's just you just resonate with it throughout, and it kind of carries you through this movie. I love when main characters in a movie don't hate each other like in the movie. I know that's weird to say, but like, let me think about how to say this. Most movies where characters that haven't met each other yet end up meeting each other, it's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? And they're like fucking mad at each other. And then in the third act, they become friends and you're best buddies, and then they're happy. That's how a lot of like squad movies go. Suicide Squad, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, like a lot of like Toy Story even like is kind of that way. When I click on a movie, especially a squad movie where it's like, watch these niggas go on an adventure, I don't want to see my people not like each other or be mad at each other for like 45 minutes and then they're cool in the last bit. I want to see them be a squad and just go on the adventure and be happy the whole time. A lot of movies feel like they have to have them be mad at each other at the beginning, because there's no way we can convince the audience that these guys just randomly become friends like out the gate. But in real life, people are friendly, man. You know, like people will just like become friends just out the gate, which is one of the best parts about all of JoJo. Like a lot of, except for like part 2, basically every JoJo arc, the side characters and the main JoJo just kind of become friends just because it's natural for people to become friends, you know? They don't have to be mad at each other out the gate. That's what makes part 4 like so interesting. That's why Ogiyasu and Josuke just start hanging out like immediately in part 4. And that's why part 3 is my personal favorite, because you have all these characters of all these different ethnicities that don't know anything about each other, and they're just like, you know, it doesn't have to be like Vegeta and Goku where it's like, fuck you. It's just kind of like, all right, let's go on the adventure. They don't even know each other. They're not super close, but they get closer and you start liking them more and they start becoming more friendly. And that's how this goes. She does not like, she's a girl and a dude just like, invited her into her house and, she should be probably really scared, but she's not. She's just like, oh, hey, what's your name? And she's like, I'm Pazu. And it's like, oh, well, cool. I jumped out of a plane yesterday. Really? That's cool. Like, it's so heartwarming to see stuff like that. And it reminds me of JoJo. It reminds me of Road to El Dorado. It reminds me of movies that I like where characters are just fucking vibing and they're not fighting. These two characters are never mad at each other. They love each other the whole time. And even the pirate lady loves them the whole time, I think I really resonate with everything that's happening between the characters in this movie because it feels real. It feels like real life in the same way that other Miyazaki movies feel like real life. You don't need an explanation for why they're friends. They just are friends because that's just life. That is honestly one of the main things that makes me love this movie. I love how like shippy they are, the two main characters. Like you know that part at the end of Princess Mononoke where like he's doing the thing at the end and then he grabs the girl. To me, the entire movie of Castle in the Sky has a lot of that kind of energy. They hug each other a bunch. There's so many like relationshipy moments, but the movie doesn't like ever show the girl blush or anything like that. She's not going to blush because she's not self-conscious. She's not worried about what the boy thinks about her. She's confident that they both like each other, and he's confident that she likes her because they're just friends. They're just cool, and it doesn't matter. Like, there's that part where they're on the ship and he puts the blanket over her and they're both cuddled in the blanket and they're both just talking to each other like I hope this works. I hope this adventure goes well. And he's like, yeah, me too. And then they get to Lapita and it's like, oh my God, we got to Lapita. There's so many like great moments. If we're gonna compare like the Princess Mononoke cling, the one that was on par with that in this movie was like when everything's burning and like the castle's all fucked up and the robot dies and they have to like fly back to where, and it's like, quick, grab her, and he's like upside down, he's like, grab me, and she's like, and he does the upside down grab. To me, that was like, I was like, oh shit, oh fuck, like that was my Princess Mononoke moment. So yeah, there were a lot of things that I really liked about this movie. That was the main reason why I enjoyed it. The whole theme of love was very simple and very basic, but like I always say, a story can be predictable while simultaneously being enjoyable. If you really connect with the story and it feels like it has a lot of heart, then you can still enjoy it. And I did. I thought it was really good. Very varied, very fun. Let's see. What else? I wanted to ask you what you thought of the dub, because I'm assuming you watched the dub, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No strong impressions?
Nah, I think all the they're all good. All the Ghibli dubs are good.
Yeah. I watched this, and when I watched it in 2018, I watched it dubbed, and this time I watched it subbed. But the dub is good. I really like the dub. I really like the bad guy, the white guy with like the glasses.
But you said you watched it dubbed?
I watched it dubbed for the first time, like way back when, and I loved the dub back then. So like, I think about it a lot, and I remember like how they sound. But this time I watched it subbed. So the English dub has Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, as the bad guy, aka the Joker. So I was like, oh my God. I remember as a kid, like when I was 18 and I watched this, I'm like, is that fucking Joker, bro? And there were so many times where he's like, Lapita will fall, Sheeta. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the Joker. So I really like the English dub. I really like that bad guy. I think Mark Hamill does a really great job at portraying him. Sometimes you can hear the Joker come out a little bit, which is really fun. Yeah, and I think the dub does a really good job at like writing some lines better. In the final like confrontation where like the dude, the Pazu comes in, he's like, I hit the crystal, like don't attack Lapita or else you're not gonna get the crystal. Let me talk to her. In the dub, like what's his name? Mark Hamill's like, you have 1 minute starting now. Like, cause Pazu says, I'll give you the crystal if you let me talk to Laputa real quick. And he's like, all right, 1 minute starting now. It's, you know, a lot of tension, very, very good line. In the sub, it's like, he's like, all right, you got 3 minutes. It's like, dude, what the fuck? That's a long time. 3 minutes to talk. You know, they might conspire to do something to fuck up your plan, and that's exactly what they do. It's just like, okay. So I kind of have mixed feelings about the dub and the sub. I don't like the main character in the dub. I think he sounds really old for his age, but I do think the sub overall like is performed very well. I love the voices in the sub. And yeah, I guess that's the main stuff I wanted to say. I like the pirate woman. I think she's really good. Yeah, she was fun. One part that I thought was really good when she was like, wear this, Laputa, and Laputa takes it out and it's like the grandma pants. It's like, oh, Laputa's not gonna wear that. Next scene, it shows them like walking side by side. You see the grandma walk, and then you see Laputa, and she's wearing the pants, and it looks badass as fuck, man. I think the poofy pants, parachute pants look amazing. I love the outfits in this movie, dude. I think the outfits are fucking amazing. I love Laputa's pants. I love Pazu's like little construction hat and shit. I think all of that is fantastic. It reminds me of a JRPG. You know, it reminds me of like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. In the design of Laputa and just the design of the two main characters. I also wanted to say that this movie does kind of connect with me a little bit more because I know about a series called Future Boy Conan, which Miyazaki made before he started making any of his movies. And Castle in the Sky is just that, I believe. Based on if you look up the poster, the characters in Future Boy Conan look exactly like the characters in Castle in the Sky. And if you look up a trailer or something, there are so many like parts where they're like on planes and shit. So I've never seen the show, but like the robots, like the main robots in Castle in the Sky are from Future Boy Conan. Like they're from that. And I was like, oh my God, like that's so cool. And it just kind of feels like Miyazaki, the series that he put all of his love and effort into, it kind of just feels like he's doing that again in movie form, which I really like. Yeah, I think it's really cool. And that really does. Yeah. Yeah.
Cheetah also looks like an older version of Kiki.
Yeah, I guess she does. I think you're right.
And the pirates in this movie look like the pirates from Porco Rosso.
Yeah. Everything in this movie kind of bleeds into another movie later on, which is really nice. I like watching the old movies and seeing how it affects their new movies in the future. It's always nice to see that. I'm gonna peruse my notes very shortly, but I think that's mostly what I gotta say about this movie. I don't know if there's much else. I think the action was really good. I thought the stakes were really high. I think the final set piece of the castle is really well done. I think the character progression of the pirate woman is very well done as well. I like the animation. Like I said, I really like this old style of animation more than like the digital, like post Princess Mononoke like era. This stuff really resonates with me more. Yeah. Let's see. I wrote down that I liked the scene in the cave where they're talking about like the stones and like the power of like Laputa, with the uncle, like where like if you break a stone you can see like this rare mineral, but if it's exposed to air then like it immediately goes away. I just wrote that down. I thought that was really cool. I like the conversation that the boy has with the old lady about like being a man, and she's, you know, Miyazaki loves his like relationships in his movies, and I thought that conversation when like he's tied up and he's like, please, I have to go save Sheeta, and I don't remember what she says, but what she says to him like was really profound and like thoughtful. It's like, do you really want to save her? And he's like, yes, I do. And then his eyes have that like like those white bubbles in his eyes, and it's like, all right, kid, let's go. And it's like, what, mom? You're really bringing him along? So I thought that was really nice. Let's see.
Yeah, the old lady is probably the best character.
Yeah, she was really cool. I thought all the characters were really nice. I liked her sons. I thought they were very, very funny. I thought there was a lot of good moments with them, and their design was very silly too. They look a lot like the bad guys in Castle of Cagliostro, which we haven't seen, but that's also something that resonated with me. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Really good. Really good. I think this is, compared to like his other worlds, I think this is a very interesting like universe. You know, I like this setting. I like this planet they're on. I like the magic. I like the robots. I like the pirates and stuff. I think this is as interesting as like Nausicaa. It's like on that same level to me. So,
okay.
Yeah. And Howls and Nausicaa, like in terms of like Miyazaki. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Howls. I was gonna say Howls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best like Miyazaki setting out of all of them. But I think that's all I got to say. Castle in the Sky. It's a banger in my book. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's really good. What would you give it? 6?
Probably 6.
Yeah. Okie dokie. I need to know your ratings because I have my like list for you, like my list that I would guess for you. I have to put these movies onto that. So I'll where would you put Castle in the Sky?
You did the whole 22?
Yes.
Oh damn.
Yeah. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But yeah. Oh, man, I've been looking at my list like Yoshikage Kira. I'm out here like, It's so fun to look at my list. I put so much thought into it. It's really cool. We watched every Ghibli movie. Not many people can say that.
Dude, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And
I can say that.
Yeah, you can say that. And then people will ask you like, oh my God, like which one's your favorite? And you can be like, this one is my favorite. I know it is. And you can explain yourself. It's going to be so good. All right. So now we can get into the crazy ones. Do you want to talk about Wind Rises first or Grave of the Fireflies? I would like to talk about Fireflies, not because I think Rises is better and I'm like going in that order, just because I think it would be cooler to talk about Fireflies first. But it's up. All right. So Isao Takahata, one of his first movies. I don't know if it is his first movie. It's not his first movie, but it might be his first like Ghibli movie. So one of the reasons why I compare Grave of the Fireflies to Totoro in the sense that, you know, the relationship between the older and younger character really works well in Totoro is because these movies came out at the same time, and in theaters, they actually were like screened as a double feature. Watch Totoro and then watch Grave of the Fireflies, because they're kind of similar.
Wow.
I know, it's so weird. Like, and it said on like IMDb. I don't know how reliable IMDb is, but it said people would just walk out of the theater after Totoro because they don't want to watch Fireflies because it's so sad. Like after they just watched the cute bunny movie. Yeah, I don't know. There was like a weird thing where like one of them couldn't get made if they didn't make the other, so they had to kind of make both, and it was interesting. But they are similar in that sense. They are intentionally similar, where it's like older character, younger character going through life at a young age. So it's intentional, like how similar these movies are in a sense. So it was really cool that I happened to watch them that way. It was cool that I coincidentally watched Totoro and then Fireflies like back to back. Fireflies was the first one I watched after Totoro, because it was the most excited one. I was the most excited for Fireflies. I'm doing a thing now where I watch the one I like most, and then I go like down the list. So I started with Fireflies, and I was not disappointed. I thought this movie was very good. What did you think?
I thought the movie was good as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, surprisingly, I didn't think this was like the saddest one though.
Oh, I hold on, let me think about that. What do I think is the saddest Ghibli movie?
I'm gonna tell you, like,
To me, it's Kaguya. Kaguya is really sad to me.
the thing is, like, with Fireflies, it has this reputation, and it has like this aura around
Yes.
it. And once you watch it, you know things are gonna get bad to worse. So you're already expecting the worst. So it's not like since you're already expecting it, it's not really a gut wrenching like sadness you feel or devastation.
Mhm.
There's other movies, the Ghibli movies, I felt at the end I was devastated. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
I'll talk about that later, but it's not the saddest one. But
I agree.
But in what's actually being shown is, of course, the saddest.
Yes. I think. Are you saying
no.
that? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you. Are you saying that this one was because of its kind of hype as like, oh my god, this movie was emotionally draining, bro. I watched a lot of reviews of it like after I watched it, and people were like, I'm never watching this movie again. It was so hard. Like, this movie was very sad. I have seen sadder movies. I consider Kaguya to be a sadder movie. I kind of consider Wind Rises to be.
That's why I was saving that one for later.
Yeah.
I think that one's better as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I think people overdo it. I think Anohana is sadder, like things like that. But
yeah,
I mean, but of course, I said like what is being shown to you and what they're experiencing is sadder than all the other ones.
Yeah,
but as real, you know, I don't feel that. And maybe if we saw it when it came out, we would have been fucked up. But
I think going
into it knowing about it is
going into it knowing about it, but also not being. I feel like we are somewhat I don't know if desensitized is the right word, but we've watched every other Ghibli movie at this point. So we know the full range of like, you know, the good, the bad, like every emotion that these movies can express. And I feel as if a lot of people don't watch every Ghibli movie. They watch Spirited Away, Princess, you know, fucking Castle and stuff. So they get to this one and they're like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, you know, so, and you know, you have to also take into account a lot of people who aren't into anime, like probably watch this movie, who aren't really into movies. So to them, the studio that makes Spirited Away and all these like beautiful, like magical things, Totoro, for them to make Grave of the Fireflies, to them, it's really novel and like, holy shit, like this is a war movie. Oh my God. Like, yeah. So,
just looking at the catalog of it, Ghibli, and then this outlier of Fireflies is like so massive. So, like, like people like think of Ghibli, think of Spirited Away, Howl's, Princess, Ponyo, and fucking and Totoro, right? And then like you watch Fireflies and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this it's kind of breached the mainstream. It's not just for anime fans. If you're an anime fan, you're like, oh, I've seen worse. But if you're a normie, then you're probably watching this like, what the fuck? So yeah. I completely understand.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Like imagine you watch Cat Return and you watch Fireflies. Imagine you watch Whisper the Heart and turn on Fireflies.
yeah. It's very sad, and it's also I really don't want to be disrespectful towards this movie because I think it is very good, and I think it is very sincere, and I do respect it a lot, and I do enjoy it a lot. But this doesn't. I was expecting something a little bit more. I don't know if this is the right word. Original, like it felt like I've seen this before, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've seen war movies before, and there are war movies like this where it's like, oh, we have to hold up in our like thing, and like no one's gonna come and help us, and we're gonna like die. I've seen movies like that, and it's really sad to watch it happen to like a little girl. And I've never seen that before. I've never seen it done in animation. Not to say that this isn't a well executed good movie. I've just seen it before, and I've seen worse. I've watched more fucked up movies than this. So, yeah. I agree. It's not like the craziest shit in the world. People think this is crazy. You should watch some of the movies I've seen. But, yeah. Let's get into the good stuff, because I think there is a lot of good stuff in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. One thing that really stands out is just the firebombing. Like,
yeah, dude,
it really does put things into perspective, because like, you think of the two atomic bombs dropped, right?
Right.
But then like just the fire runs and shit. This is so forgotten. Like,
yeah,
when this shit was happening, I was like, oh yeah, this shit did happen.
Yeah,
like, they just did fires, like burn shit. Same thing. The UK did that a lot with Germany, but they just put shit on fire in Germany.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, this movie puts it in perspective. It's like, their view of like what's going on is interesting, because like their dad is in the Navy, and they look up to their dad, so their dad can't be on the wrong side or the bad side of history, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, when you're watching it, it's like, damn, America is doing this, but you're like, America was kind of right though.
This movie was really shocking to me, because I always considered like the I'm very uneducated when it comes to war, and I'll admit that, but I always kind of saw like the Hiroshima bombing as like whoa, bro, you took it to the innocent people. That's taking it hella far. But this movie and what you're saying, it's kind of just like, no, innocent people were always like getting fucked, like in these kind of things. So yeah, it's really sad.
It's always gonna be a collateral, but I used to think about the bombs a lot too, just the thought process behind the bombs. Like, Japan versus America, when they took all the islands and we came back, Pearl Harbor, then we took all the islands back, it was either like, it was pretty much we invade mainland Japan. We took all the islands, now we invade Japan. Or none of us gets hurt, we just drop 2 bombs on them. So it's like, if you're the leader at the time, which is like, are you gonna send your men to go like over, like really on Japanese mainland, to like go fight over there? Or are you just gonna sit back and bomb them?
And they didn't even really want to do that. Like, at least from my understanding, you said that. From my understanding, like, Japan shot first, like out of nowhere. It's like, bro, what the fuck? So that was the idea, because like, they didn't want to take over Japan. They going over there fighting.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, we're not even trying to take over. And the bombs, it's not only Pearl Harbor. That was just like a smack in the face, right? But
yeah.
Also, not also did you side with Hitler, but also what Japan did to China. You heard about that? You know about that stuff?
No.
You don't know about what?
Well, say it.
The rape, huh?
Say it. I might remember.
The rape of Nanking.
Continue.
Where Japan, right, bro? This is great. Japan like invaded Manchuria of China, and like literally like were like doing like Auschwitz type of stuff, where they're like test China people, fucking rape, like use them experiments, just like outright like fire squad, like
Japan did that to China.
It was literally like they were literally on like Auschwitz type of time with China. That's why it's called the rape of Nanking, right? And this is the interesting part about the movie, because like while Japan is doing all these literally like atrocities, like as bad as like Auschwitz, right? It's like these kids look up to their dad, and they're like, Japan, in their head, like Japan's on the right side. It's like, imagine being them, and you're like, why are these people putting our city on fire? Like, why would they do that? They're so unaware that what Japan is doing to other countries,
I didn't even have
And
that
you know
context.
that interesting scene in the movie was like when the kid finds out that the war is over. He's like, "The great Japanese empire fell," and the older dude was like, "Yeah, get off me."
Yeah, yeah,
Like the older dude probably knew, like, yeah, we had that, we had it coming. But the kids were like, "No way, bro! Like they're
yeah,
blowing up our cities. How could we lose the great Japan? How could we lose? Especially growing up in such like a prideful time."
yeah.
And we're like, after that, they were completely humbled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially his dad being in the military. He's probably so prideful, and that pride has also led to his downfall and his sisters, right?
Yeah,
But I'm gonna continue with that one, but the whole like just China thing, China's doing that, Pearl Harbor, blah blah blah. And you think like, was America justified for like blowing up
mm-hmm.
those two cities and the fire bombs and shit? There's no right answer, but to me, I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I'm incapable of answering that.
You see this movie from their perspective, is like, what the fuck? And then you think like, why don't America just like bomb like the military people? You know, it's like, it's still fucked up. It's like, why would you like get these guys involved? You know?
Yeah, I think regardless of, I think my main takeaway after watching this movie is that, like, we should not do war regardless of like of whether it needs to happen or not needs to happen. Like, I think that if you're going to, someone is to blame, like even if they're not the ones like, shooting the shot at you. Like if you're going to say like, oh well, you guys shot at us and we're just trying to make sure that you don't fuck with us anymore, so that's why we threw the bombs on you, then the blame would be put on the Japanese like people for starting like a conflict with America. So it's like, I think that one of the things that I really one of the things that I took away from this movie is the insensitivity that adults and just the world at large has to innocent people, especially children, around the world. They're not taking into account that like there's a lot of people that don't give a fuck, don't care, are trying to live their own lives, can't even comprehend like the issues on a global scale, and they can't really deal with the stuff that the world, they don't want to get caught in the crossfire of this bullshit, and that's kind of Miyazaki. I guess I'm kind of going on my own tangent, but I basically just wanted to say that before I start saying all the stuff I want to say. You asked the question of like, is it right for America to do that? And I think regardless of the answer, I don't think it really matters, because I think there's always going to be someone at fault whenever there's like a war. Someone's doing some fuck shit. There's no justification for like killing each other in droves. It's never acceptable. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't benefit anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
know a lot.
I want to say real quick, I thought the movie, at least to me, without having I didn't even know who was like bombing thing. I didn't even know it was America. Maybe they say it in the movie. Maybe I missed it. But
they say it one time.
Okay. I felt like the movie wasn't even, I feel like it doesn't even really matter who's bombing, China, America. It's, yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. And because they say at the beginning of the movie that the Americans are coming. That's the only time they reference America, but throughout the movie they just say enemy. But it's just like, while watching the movie, it's just like a backdrop. It's like it's so much like, for me, that I know a lot about World War II. It's a lot of like background information at play, right? And like there's just so many like perspectives, but also I forgot. Yeah, I found that so interesting when the kid was like, the great Japanese empire fell. Like he probably thought they were the good guys in the story, but in all actuality, you're like, they're not. So I think it's the same thing with The Wind Rises. It's just like a background.
Yeah,
it's like such a thing. Like,
it's really good in the
movie.
movie.
And I like how like the movie doesn't even like tell you that the bombs got dropped, because like these dudes had such problems on their own, that two of them, like it didn't. Yeah. The movie didn't even have to tell you. You already know. Like you already know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the movie. Like that. that prideful, the pride, and
Yeah.
the dude, the farmer who's telling the MC, he was like, just let go of your pride and just go back to your aunt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really thought he was gonna go back because
Mm.
you know things are looking so dire, but you know, probably having a military dad,
Mm-hmm.
probably having the military dad during that time, he was so, like his pride was so like on Vegeta level. It's like his dad probably like instilled that pride into him, like
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
I didn't get it at first. Like, why don't you just go back? And it's like it's gonna be shitty, but at least you're gonna get like taken care of. You have a house, getting fed,
Mhm.
right? Even though it's really shitty, right? I was like, why doesn't he just go back? I was thinking like, the Japanese people were super prideful, especially during this time, you know. And then once he said the Great Japanese Empire fell, I was like, yeah, he was too prideful to turn back.
It's very interesting that you have that perspective on the movie. I think all of that's completely valid, but I really did draw a lot of parallels with Princess Kaguya, and it's funny how you say that. Like, why didn't he just go back? To me, I could immediately tell, like, yo, I wouldn't fucking go back either. Like, I don't want nobody telling me what to do, talking to me the way that she was talking to me. You know, I feel like a running theme in Only Yesterday, Kaguya and Grave of the Fireflies, is how adults treat children and how they aren't empathetic towards what they're going through and their development and what they want and what they desire. You know, the war isn't very empathetic towards the fact that these kids just kind of want to live a normal life. The aunt isn't empathetic to the fact that these kids didn't fucking ask for this. They didn't ask for this reality. They didn't ask for their mom to die, and she's being an asshole to them. You know, it's like she's being so rude. She's being so fucking mean, and she's acting very inhuman towards the kids to a degree where it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to hang around her either. So in the same way that Kaguya was like the dad was just being so fucking stupid, and he was being so incompetent, and it's like, oh, you could leave, but you know, it's a lot more nuanced than that, right? She could have left, but like, it's not like she had anywhere to go. And it's like, you know, with the dude, it's like, yeah, I have nowhere to go except the aunt's house, but I'm not dealing with that bitch. So, you know, it's I guess it is kind of like the opposite of Kaguya, but you know, in that setting, it's like there are no rules. You know, a lot of people probably are by themselves. A lot of kids probably are by themselves. And to him, it's like, this person isn't even my mom. Like, I never even really met this person. She's kind of random in my life. So it's not, he doesn't have like such a personal connection like Kaguya did to her dad, to where it's like, I want to stay with her. I know that's not what you were saying, but like, I think that just plays more into like why he was so easily like, yeah, no, fuck you. Like, you know, I think living outside and like being like homeless is also just more common in that setting. I think it like now I can't even comprehend that. I don't want to be judged and stuff, but like back then it was probably like, yeah, a lot of people probably lost their homes. This is whatever. Like, we can deal with this. A lot of other people are probably doing the exact same thing. So
yeah, but
yeah, I still understand your perspective.
Him not going back is eventually what led to that.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I think
you can get it, but
I think their death is sad, but I think they would be like really, really unhappy, like with the aunt, and I think she would continue being a dick to them. So
no, of course, but
I kind of see it as the adults' fault for even starting this war. I see it as her fault for being insensitive towards them. That's like my takeaway when I finish the movie. I'm like, the world's cruel. You know, I don't see it like as the kid being like this is your fault, dude. You should have just gone back. I mean, maybe in the grand scheme of things, it kind of is, but I feel like I would have done the same thing if I were in his shoes.
No, I don't know. Because she was at that point, she was already like sick.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't like as visual as later, but he knew she was fucked up.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have went back.
Yeah.
Probably went back, go back until like, the war finishes, and then move on.
Yeah.
But I think it was too tough. Because she was so young. If she was like older, it'd be like.
I chalked a lot of that up to like ignorance. Like I think he didn't fully grasp like how fucked up she was, and it's like, oh, she's fine. Like she maybe has a cold or something, or like she'll power through it, kind of thing. Because he's like 14. I probably would have thought the same thing at that age. Like, oh, just deal with it. You'll be okay. Like we eat every day. We go to sleep at the time that we should. Like we'll be fine. I'm not sick, so. You'll be fine. And then like near the end when he
Oh my God.
That's honestly what I would have thought of like back then, but I'm not trying to invalidate what you're saying. Like I just
Yeah, of course.
it's interesting. It's interesting the perspective that you have. I think because I connect with Kaguya so much, I really just kind of saw this through those lens of like Kaguya. And also, there was a quote in the documentary that really resonated with me that kind of ties into what we're talking about right now, and really kind of frames my perspective of Takahata and his movies. Miyazaki tells a story about, because Miyazaki and Takahata both grew up like during that time, during that war, during stuff like the air raids, I think. And Miyazaki talks about how one time people came to his doorstep and like they asked for food, and Miyazaki's dad gave them chocolates, and Miyazaki, he talked about how that had such a big impact on him that his dad did that. And Miyazaki was like, why didn't he give me the chocolates? He fucking hid them from me, but he gave them to these random people. But he was very impacted positively of that. And then immediately after he said that, he was like, Takahata walked for 2 days and no one gave this nigga anything, and look what happened to him. And he was like saying that to the camera. And when you look at all of his movies, they're all about like adults being very insensitive and not caring about the situations that children are in and what they're going through, which I really resonate with, because I feel like a lot of teachers like talk to me in certain ways where it's like, dude, if you like were in my shoes for like half a second, you would never fucking say that, and I see things through that quote that Miyazaki said that really impacted me. It meant a lot, especially given that in that movie he was making Kaguya. Like he didn't even make Kaguya yet. Like he was in the process of making it. So it's like, even Only Yesterday is when the dad like slaps the girl, like that was, he put that in the movie. He felt that way about that father character towards the little girl. Like it feels like a very consistent trend in like all of his movies. And I think when you compare him to Miyazaki, like he's very sad and depressed and fucked up compared to Miyazaki. And it reflects in his films. And I connect with it because I felt the exact same way. And I still kind of do, to an extent. People are very mean to me. And yeah, when the aunt was being a bitch, I was like, leave. I was so happy when he left. I was like, let's go. That scene in Kaguya where she like runs away? That's like basically what he did. And I'm like, I'm happy that he did that. Even if it was probably the wrong thing to do, because I'm prideful. I don't like when people tell me what to do. Yeah. What else?
I would have went back, man.
Yeah, you're better than me. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Because who knows? Like, what if his dad just didn't die? His dad just came back.
You have to take into account, like, he thought that was going to happen. He's like, we'll hold out. Dad will come back. We'll be fine. If he thought his dad was actually dead, he probably would have stayed, because he probably knew, like, yeah, things will not get any better. Because I think he's approaching the idea of leaving and, cooking on that little crock pot. He's like, this is temporary. This will not be our lives forever. It'll just be like for now until everything gets back to normal. But yeah, nothing did get back to normal for him. Yeah.
Then And she dies. He burns her,
Yeah,
and he dies.
I know.
And then his death is at the beginning.
Yeah,
They throw the can out.
I love that transition. That then the music plays and then the title pops up and like they pick up the can, but the can like gets the scratches off of it and it's like repaired, so you can tell it's like a flashback or they're like ghosts or whatever. I thought that was really cool.
And they throw the can out. Then his sister appears and she looks at his she looks at him like his alive body, and his soul like stops her. Like, hey, it's like she didn't even know she was dead.
Yeah.
And dude, like the kid knew, the MC knew, and he's like, don't look over there.
Yeah.
Like he did with the first dude with the dead guy on the beach.
Yeah.
She was like, don't look over there.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, don't look at my dead body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at it. And they at the end, they just look over like modern day Japan.
Yeah.
And then
it's really sad. I really like that ending shot.
yeah, it was a nice. The song was perfect as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like they just looking at modern day Japan. Like
it's like, you guys happy? we had to crawl so you guys could run. Very upsetting. And it's even more upsetting how insensitive the guy is towards him in like the beginning of the scene, but it's also understandable because there's like 20 other people like on the ground, so it's hard to be very empathetic when like it's just kind of what you do on a daily basis, like cleaning up these bodies. And it's even more sad like how this adult like takes the fucking ashes of his like little sister and like just throws them out like it's a baseball, but like it's also like the adult is just stupid. Like he doesn't know that that's like the ashes of a little girl. He's not very aware of that. He's it's I feel like that scene also tied into how I feel about like the insensitivity of adults and stuff, and it's very, very captured very well in just that single scene. Yeah, what a fucking amazing intro too. He shows his face. I die on September 21st. That's me. What's that meme where it's like I don't know, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, it's like, so this is my story. Do you really want to know what happened? Like I don't know what meme it is, but
did he say September 21st?
Yeah, he said the specific day. He was like September 21st, like 1945 or something.
Yeah, 1945, yeah. Then the war ends September 2nd.
Wow, that's really sad.
So yeah, he died. That would mean he dies
very soon after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like probably like a week, two after.
And with like war kind of being like coming to a close and order slowly coming back into shape, he probably can't steal to the extent that he was doing before. So it's probably like even harder for him. I mean, he has less of a purpose now because his sister died and he's like really upset, but like, he probably doesn't have a means to survive. He can't go back to the aunt like, hey, I was kind of wrong. I got my sister killed. He can't do that. He doesn't want to face them. So that's kind of why he just sits there and he's just like, fuck it. I really like the ending shot, but I loved that beginning so much. I was really hoping that the movie would kind of end the way it started. I know that's cliche. I know that's generic, but the beginning was so good. And I would have really liked it if I got to see him sit there where he died in the beginning. But the ending was still good. But after I finished the movie, I rewatched that first scene and I was like, oh man, dude. So it's just evidence of how strong that first scene was. But that's a minor thing. Overall, the movie was good. Did you watch it sub or dubbed?
Dubbed.
Really? What did you watch it on?
This illegal website.
Oh, okay. Well, I bought the Blu-ray and I watched the sub, and the sub voice acting of the two main characters was fucking amazing. Like the little girl was actually voiced by like a 5-year-old girl. And I was like, when I heard it for the first time, I was like, no way. No way that's an adult. And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh my God, they got a 5-year-old girl. And whenever she cries, whenever she's upset, I knew that this little girl was out here in the studio like, like, so I was like, dude, one of the best voice acting performances I've ever seen. Like, I can tell that they recorded the lines and they animated around, at least, I mean, I believe that's what they did because it was just so accurate. Like, it was really hard for me to, because the little girl, she was really crying. Like, you could hear her like like sniffling and like, you know, all the weird things like, you know, like that a microphone would pick up that aren't just your voice. Very, very good. And, you know, when she's dying, it sounds like she's dying. You know, usually child actors are terrible, but this one was fucking perfect. Like, the range of emotions of happiness to sadness to like being upset, like you felt like all of it. I loved it. I thought it was really good. That's something that was like one of the main things. And the boy was 14 years old too. Like the voice actor for him. So very thoughtful, man. Really, really cool in that sense. They didn't do that for the dubs, but so honestly, I hate to be that asshole, but like, if you ever rewatch this movie, I will highly recommend watching the sub because it's really good. It shaped the experience for me. It made it very real, very authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, Grave of the Fireflies. I don't know if there's much else I had to say. I wrote in my notes, fuck this aunt character. The mother death, I think, is what impacts a lot of people the most. Like, when you see the mom and you're like, oh my God, she died. Because like the way the movie starts out is like, you wouldn't think that the mom would die. You know, it doesn't like set up like there's the way it's set up. It doesn't. You're not going to predict, oh, the mom's going to die and the movie's just going to be them. I did not predict that at all. Because it's
you just thought they were like, get lost.
Yeah. And the way the mom acts, where it's like, she's so blasé about like the attack. Like it's almost like it's so routine that she's thinking to herself, like, I'll be fine. Like, it'll be okay. And then she's not. And it's the reveal of her like being fucked up. It's not super melodramatic, like, you know, they don't play music, they don't do like the anime thing where like it looks like a handheld camera and it's going in and out of focus. Like, it's just, they just show you like any other scene, like very directly, and it's just the impact is just in how fucked up she is and how damaged she became. And the dude's reaction, he's trying, just like the little girl in fucking Totoro, where like she's like, is mom gonna be okay? And she's trying to be strong. She's trying not to cry, especially not in front of like the little sister. She's trying to like be the grown up. But then, you know, in that scene, she cries in Totoro, and like this character's older than her, so he's seeing his mom like all fucked up, and he's like really trying to be respectful, really trying like not to have his sister see. It's I thought the dynamic, if it was just two babies like Ponyo, this shit would be ass. But because it was a 14-year-old and because it was a little sister, it works extremely well. Their dynamic is very, very good. I really like it. Yeah. Carries the movie. It's very good. Okay. I think that's it. I feel like I could go deeper, but those are like the main points I wanted to make. So, I think I'm going to give Grave of the Fireflies an 8 out of 10. That's subject to change, but that's what I'm giving it for now. What do you give it?
I'll also give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool. All right. Now let's talk about The Wind Rises. Now, to me, The Wind Rises is the most interesting Ghibli movie in the sense that I was not expecting this movie to be what it was. You know, a lot of these movies, you know, there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of different things. You're getting Takahata movies, you get Goro movies, you get Miyazaki movies. But The Wind Rises, despite being a Miyazaki movie, doesn't have a lot of the things. There's a lot of unique things that set this apart from other Miyazaki movies, and it's really cool in that sense. I think this movie's super unique, and I loved just how different it was, by being kind of like a biopic-ish kind of thing, and while simultaneously tackling the things that he loves to talk about, like war and planes and being passionate about your job and love. It kind of felt like the ultimate Ghibli movie in the sense. I felt like this is on par with like Howl's Moving Castle in just terms of sheer scale. Like, it was so fucking big, and it's weird. It's like a, you know, I talk about how much I love when like people go around to multiple locations and like when they globetrot, and it kind of feels like an adventure. And this movie is like kind of doing that, despite being like a hangout movie. It's not an action-y kind of thing. It's like a hangout, like chill kind of movie, kind of like Kiki's, where it's just kind of like, oh, I'm doing my job and I'm being passionate about what I do, blah, 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 blah. But it's on a more global scale. The way that you said Only Yesterday is Ocean Waves 2.0, to me, Wind Rises is Kiki's 2.0. Like, it's like Kiki's, but just bigger and crazier, and like it's saying a lot more, and it's saying the same thing as Kiki's, but like in a slightly different way. Yeah, there's a lot to chew on with this one. And I was trying to take as much notes as I possibly could today. I watched it like a week ago, but and I didn't take any notes while watching it because I was like, okay, let me just experience this. Let me just watch it. I had a good time. I liked it. What did you think?
I loved it.
Yay! I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
That's
for
good.
Real. The whole thing. And I brought up that this movie is sadder than Grave Fireflies, because at the end I was so devastated.
Yeah.
It's not even about like his wife dying. It's about like his life goals and everything. Like
everything ends.
Everything like led, and it's just like everything he did like just led up to World War II, where all the like the bad stuff happened.
Yeah.
Right? That's because that's like World War II. It was like that was like the antagonist of the movie for me, because like everything you're about to do, bro, is about to be fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
Like kamikazes, fucking all types of shit, you know.
Yeah.
Like you don't even you don't even know, but like you're just pursuing your passion. You don't even care about the war.
Yeah.
Or like what's gonna be useful. This is what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is like there's a lot of things like this. Like the dude who created dynamite, like just for mining. And then when he found out that it was used to like blow people up, he was devastated. And I think the dude who Dr. Eisenhower or something like that, but I think he's the dude who created like atom bombs.
Yeah.
And, like he was devastated after what his creation led to.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like, and then this is compiled with his wife dying.
Yeah.
Off camera. I don't know. Her dying off camera just made it worse.
Yeah, it did. It was really sad. It was very that to me is
original. Oh my god. Yeah, but yeah, all that stuff, right? But really, the sad thing was like what his passion was gonna lead to, right?
Yeah.
But also like when he talked to Caproni at the end, and he was like, "This is my last flight," and then it was like Porco Rosso, and they're like all like his planes were like flying to. It was like so Porco Rosso. Like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked about that scene in Porco Rosso. I love that scene.
Yeah.
And I loved it here, you know, because it wasn't because Porco Rosso was about like his friends flying, but now like the way he's looking at it is like his creation, his planes are flying. It's like and I like how they do it. They had to be like, yo, the Porco Rossos.
Yeah.
Well, I loved it. The ending that shit hurt. I remember I watched that at work, and I was just like, the whole time I was devastated.
Yeah, it's it's the sad Miyazaki ending. They recontextualize it the best way they can to make it positive and to kind of put a positive spin on it. But what is objectively happening is like really sad. His passion for creating planes led to the war, and it, you know, it caused all this strife and conflict. It his wife, like, you know, isn't even alive anymore. So, you know, it to me, what really kind of resonated with me is like, yeah, he created the 02 planes, but like now he's out of a job. Like he can't create planes anymore. The war's over. It's over. Your job's done. You're not needed anymore. And his wife's dead, so he doesn't even have her to go back to. So like watching that is like the end of like this guy's story. Even though he's not gonna die anytime soon, he's not like super old. It's like, all right, my purpose. It's like it's weird. Like it's kind of been fulfilled. I've experienced like the main things I want to experience.
I wonder how like he felt. It was after like the aftermath of the war.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but I also agree. Like, it's over now. You know, what else are you gonna do? You know, the Caproni was like, you have 10 years of ultimate creativity.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because not only like the character, like his 10 years, he lived it to the fullest.
Right.
He pursued his dreams, completed it, made the girl he loved.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he was on top of the world during those 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But,
I think you asked.
One more thing I was gonna say, it's great. It's interesting because that this is in a Miyazaki, like a Miyazaki film where his creativity was longer than 10 years. You know.
I wanted to bring that up where while this is talking about it's meta in the sense that it's talking about Miyazaki's career and how he's kind of coming to the tail end of what he's doing. It's talking about this character, and it's like, you know, did you spend your time wisely? Did you make the things that you wanted to make? And he's like, yeah, I did. It kind of fucked up near the end, but you know, I think I did what you said. I made the planes that I wanted to make, and even regardless of like whether they cause strife or anguish, this is what I wanted to do. This is like my passion. And, you know, I think to answer your question of like how he felt afterwards, I think the end of the movie kind of tries to be like, yeah, I got to do what I wanted to do, regardless of what it caused. And, you know, I don't regret it. Cause he asked himself, like, should I do this? Like in the movie, like, I feel like he contemplated over it. And there was that scene where he was talking to Caproni, and Caproni's like, I don't remember the exact quote, but it's like, would you have a world with pyramids or without pyramids? I would have a world with pyramids, you know, like I value art too much to let whatever the art does be the cause of like me not making the art, you know? So, you know, we talk about the atom bomb and stuff, and maybe this is a little bit different. But like, you know, when you watch like a movie and it's like, you know, I'm a mad scientist, I want to, you know, find out how to break space and time. Like, you know, the people who made the atom bomb are probably just like, oh my God, like I actually did this thing. Look at this fucking breakthrough that I had. And then it's like, oh my God, like, what have I done? But it's like, that's what they wanted to do. You know, that's what they're passionate about, right? It's not like they have negative intentions. They care about science. They care about breakthroughs. They care about pushing past, you know, human limitations and stuff. And that's what the main character did. And I resonated with that. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And also on that scene, when he talks to Caproni the last time, like, I'm looking at it right now, like it shows like his planes flying over like clouds, like dark clouds, like.
Yeah.
I'll show you this. I really like this scene right here. I have to go find it. Camera. There's this scene right here where you see this planes flying, and then the war, blah blah blah, and then it's gonna come right now. Everything on fire. And then this is literally fucking Grave of Fireflies. Right?
Yeah, I know exactly.
And then yeah, then this is like his plane with his like symbol right here,
You're right.
and then he's just like, damn. And he's just walking. He's just like walking through the rubble. I really like this scene.
That's not the last
This is when
scene,
he-
right?
This is when he talks to Caproni. Caproni's gonna pull up right now.
Oh, really?
I think, if I'm correct.
I think this is the last scene. Oh, that's so fire. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Caproni.
Caproni.
Caproni is straight out of fucking Porco Rosso, bro.
Yeah. His design is so like, oh, it's so cool. His fucking mustache.
It's literally Porco Rosso.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm really happy you enjoyed this movie. I'm glad
Dude,
you
this
liked it.
movie. Oh my god, this movie's such a trip.
Yeah. It is. It really is like a trip. I like how it's I really like how Kaguya is over the course of a lot of years, but you don't even really notice it by the end until the ending, or like until you get to like the third act where it's like, oh my god, it's been like 10 years since like the opening scene. And that's how I feel about this movie, where it's like it feels like such a grand journey in terms of where they go and like the locales, but also in terms of like the time frame where it's like over the course of like a decade. It's Miyazaki's talking about his entire life in the span of a decade. It's really cool. I loved all the stuff with the planes and the passion about like doing your job. You know, I call this movie Kiki's Delivery Service 2.0. And what I mean when I say that is that Kiki's is about like following your passion despite the adversities that come with following that passion. Like, you know, sometimes losing sight of why you're doing what you're doing and da-da-da-da-da. And I feel like Wind Rises is exactly that. It's just kind of dealing with it in a different way and on like a grander scale, you know, like if your creations like, you know, cause strife and conflict, will you make them, blah, 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 blah. That's obviously not in Kiki's, but it's kind of the same thing that Kiki's is dealing with. And it's something that, you know, I resonated with Kiki's because I make stuff, and even though this, you know, I'm never going to make cool planes or like weapons of war. So I might not be able to relate to this movie in that sense, but I do relate to it in the sense of like, you know, like, is there any purpose in what I do? Does it have enough impact to where even if it doesn't really mean anything, like does it mean anything to me? Right? Regardless of what it means to other people, does it mean anything to me? How much do I care about it? How much do I need to do it? And I think Miyazaki, the reason why I love Kiki's is because I know that it's very meta in the sense that Miyazaki is vicariously talking through the movie. Like he's talking to you and to other artists through Kiki's. And he's doing the same thing with Wind Rises, but he's more so, he's not talking to a younger person. He's kind of talking to himself, it feels like. It feels like he said like this is the only movie he's ever like cried like watching. And I think it's because it's about him and it's about his 10 years that he spent. And he asks himself like, are the movies that I make like even worth it? Like he says that in the documentaries, which is really, it's very interesting that he would even say that. So yeah, I did love this movie. When the girlfriend like came into play, I was like, oh my God, this is getting crazy. Because the stakes are so insanely high. Like, you know, it's like, do you really want to make planes, bro? It's like, yes, I want to make planes. All right. Like, well, you know, you're going to have to visit Germany and you're going to have to like just acknowledge the fact that you're in a war zone and that like things are going to be bad. And then when his wife comes into play, that's like right when like the police start like wanting to come after him. So it's so stressful because like his job and his passion has brought him to this point where like it's detracting kind of from his personal life. Like when he's like on the trip to go see his wife, he's like writing the shit for the planes, and then like you see that he's crying while doing the writing, and it's like torturing him inside that like like his passion is like fucking him up to this extent and fucking up his life, but he loves it so much he can't stop. It's so good. It's so fire. Yeah.
That's a great. I'm happy you brought that up.
Yeah. It is a good scene. And it's just,
this movie is done. It's done so well.
yeah, it's very well executed.
I'm so happy we watched this last.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a
Miyazaki's
great conclusion.
I know. I agree. I completely agree.
Imagine watching Porco Rosso and then this right after.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that when I get older.
But yeah, this movie is it's done so well. It's like, he talks about Earthsea being made with heart.
Earthsea?
I didn't really feel it there. Yeah, remember he said his son made it with heart.
Right.
I didn't really feel it there, but with this one, it's like.
Did he say that about Earthsea, or did he say that about Earwig and the Witch? I think he said that about Earwig.
No, it was about Earthsea.
Okay.
He said, my son made this with heart, so that's what makes it good.
Right.
Yeah, but this is so much heart.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, Miyazaki, he knows what he's trying to say. It's very thoughtful. It's very organic. So the documentary is about the production of this movie, and Miyazaki is like writing it. He's like writing the screenplay like while talking to the camera. Like he's sitting there literally making the fucking movie, and he's sitting there like, remember what I said about like the movies kind of talk through him. He doesn't go through any guidelines. He doesn't follow like a 3-act structure or anything. He doesn't like look at an outline, right? He just kind of makes the movie like off the dome. And while making it, he's like, I don't even know if we have a movie, bro. Like, he's just kind of like, it's really cool, like his process, and how it shapes into this film. And that's what makes his movies feel so genuine, because they're just kind of human experiences. They're just human movies about people going through shit, and this one just happens to have like a perfectly executed plot. I think this movie's executed extremely well for how much it's saying and how much it's doing in the runtime that it has. It puts so much on its plate, and it manages to leave no stone unturned. Like, despite that, you got the relationship, you got the war, you got the passion of wanting to build planes, you got the appeal of the planes themselves, and he does it all in very broad and vicious strokes. He covers every aspect of it perfectly. I will always admire a movie for like trying to say like 6 things at the same time, and I think this movie does that extremely well. That's kind of why I love Howl's Moving Castle so much, because I feel like Howl's is saying a lot of things at the same time, and it might vary for some people, but for me it worked a lot, and I think it works extremely well in this one. I loved it, dude. I thought it was really good. I love the side characters too. I think the little boss character,
the short boss, yeah,
he's really cool. I love like how he's kind of mean, but you can tell that he cares about Jiro, and he cares about like the planes a lot too, and they're kind of on the same team despite him being like assertive and bossy. Like he kind of saves Jiro, like when the police are coming, he's like, Jiro, where are you? Like, come here. And they like, bring all of his shit into the room. Like, oh, that's so fire. That's so fire.
Yeah. The scene with where like his plane passed the test, and then like the wind like rushed him, and he looked over to like the side,
dude,
while like everyone's celebrating, and then like, you already know what happened.
Yeah, I know. It's so obvious. It's really sad, because I really did, with Kiki's, when she loses her power and she gets like depressed that she can't do her job anymore, that really connects with me. And I think that Jiro gets really frustrated with the planes not working, like halfway through the movie. Like, it shows that they're testing some of the planes, and like they just keep fucking breaking, and he's just, And I think that's why he goes on vacation. He goes to like the house because he's like so pissed that like it's just not working. And then there's that, you know, there's the coolest fucking character like in any Ghibli movie, the spy. I looked it up on Wikipedia. They said he was a spy. I don't know if he is, but like the German guy who is smoking like the German cigarettes, and he's German, but he's anti-war. So he's sitting there and he's like, Germany sucks. And then like someone who walks by and then he changes the topic of the conversation. He says, like, this is the magic mountain. This is where people go to get cured. And he said, like, this boy's fallen in love. He's cured. He's happier now, which is the exact same thing that happens in Kiki's when she like takes a break from her job and then she starts to feel better because she like, you know, got a little break and she started hanging out with her little boyfriend. It's the exact same thing. You know, they cover the Kiki thing in the span of like one chunk in this movie. While Kiki's is about that the entire time, this movie covers it in like one little chunk. And I love when movies do that. I love when movies like say big things in little ways. Yeah, it's really good. I feel like there's so much to say. What did you think about that character? The German guy.
You know, I was suspicious of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
he seemed
I really liked him.
Evil, kind of.
Yeah, he looked so evil.
Yeah, in retrospective, I don't think that was Miyazaki's intention. I think like he was supposed to kind of seem like the one woke guy in the room. Like, you know, I understand the war is bad. I understand that you're passionate about your thing with planes, and you know, I support you in what you do. Like in the grand scheme of things, that's kind of what Miyazaki was trying to express with that character. And I thought that guy was really cool, and just that whole bit with him.
That whole bit. I was wondering what was going on, but then they wrap it up. Nicely.
Yeah. Now that I understand it, I think the intention of those scenes will make a lot more sense on rewatch, because they were going for like a positive thing with him. It wasn't trying to be like negative. But I do want to say that you know, I talked about Tick Tick Boom, which is a autobiography by Lin-Manuel Miranda about another playwright, someone who like writes plays and writes musicals. So we're talking about Miyazaki, where he's making a movie about a real person, but it reflects kind of his story as well and what he's going through right now, right? So Lin-Manuel Miranda is doing that with this other guy that is a playwright that has passed away. And when I was watching that movie, there was this lingering feeling that he wasn't being super accurate with everything that was happening, and he wasn't being conscious of how his inaccuracy might be inadvertently disrespecting this character, which is a problem with a lot of biopics where it's like, let's show you everything about Martin Luther King. And it's like, okay, well, you didn't know Martin Luther King. You might be showing something that's not very reflective of him. And this might be a movie that people go to think about Martin Luther King, when in reality, it's like not very accurate to who he actually was. I wanted to say that Miyazaki, even though a lot of this movie doesn't know who Jiro is, like Miyazaki doesn't know him. There's not a lot of research on the guy besides like the fact that he made the 02 and he made the plane for World War II. This guy, like, Miyazaki doesn't try to show things about this character that I think is disrespectful to the individual, or like, you know, a lot of it is inaccurate. A lot of this stuff is actually like made up. Like most of this isn't real, and it's just kind of Miyazaki breathing a narrative into what is otherwise something that he doesn't really know a lot about. But it works extremely well because you're not watching it to be like, what did Lincoln do back in his day? Like, there are a lot of movies where it's like, look at Freddie Mercury, look how cool he was, and this is what happened, and this is that. The appeal of the movie is, look at what happened to Freddie Mercury. The appeal of this movie is not, look what happened to Jiro. The appeal of this movie is feel what Jiro was feeling when he was making the planes. Feel the conflicts that he most definitely had to deal with, even if they're not like a one-to-one, you know? Like, I don't even think like there's anything out there about Jiro having a wife and like this whole thing with the girlfriend happening to him. But even if he didn't have a wife, that undoubtedly, like, you know, the war definitely got in the way of his personal life, you know? So like in that like very passive way, they do kind of connect, like undeniably in that sense. And I think that's super thoughtful and super caring of Miyazaki to do that. I think as a biopic, this is very good because I looked it up and it said that there's a short story called The Wind Risen, like written by some random guy. And Miyazaki took that story that has nothing to do with Jiro and he just put Jiro and like the plane guy in that story. And he kind of fused these two things together. And I thought that was really cool. I think that it worked extremely well in the grand scheme of things because when you're making a movie about somebody, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. It doesn't even have to have really happened. It's just about whether that movie is faithful and accurate towards your perception of that guy. And I think Miyazaki made this movie with the correct intentions. I think it was very thoughtful.
Right. It was very thoughtful.
Yeah.
I feel like if the Jiro saw this movie, he'd be very happy.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would. Yeah,
and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how accurate it is. It doesn't matter if like half of it is fake. It's like, you know, does the person that you're making the movie on, would they feel disrespected by the movie? If the answer is no, then you've done your job. You've done a good job. Yeah, not a lot of movies do this, Manny. A lot of movies are really bad when it comes to. There's a lot of shitty biopics out there. And it just goes to show that Miyazaki like knocked it out of the park with this one. This is the most unique Ghibli movie in my opinion. Like, at least in comparison to everything else, like I feel like a lot of them.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I would have to quickly look, but
yeah, I have to look at my list too. I mean, they're all unique in their own way, I guess, in comparison to the wide spectrum of film. But in comparison to each other, a lot of them are very similar.
This is like JoJo compared to Shonen.
Yeah, dude. You're absolutely right. It really does stand out. It's one of a kind. There are no other things like this.
Yeah, this movie is excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just kind of. I really don't want to forget anything. I know we've kind of talked about everything, but you know, once again, I just want to say I really like the stakes. I like how he is like basically on the run and he's hiding from the police while at the same time trying to hang out with his wife. And I really like that he has to hide at the boss's house, who's like, you know, he's kind of a dick and he's kind of mean, but like, you know, the boss is out here like, you know, you can't stay if you're not married. And he's like, all right, we'll get married now. And it like the boss like understands that this is like so important to him and it like means a lot, despite the fact that he never expresses like emotion for Jiro in that way. Like it's never direct. It's never like boom, boom, boom. Earthsea. It never is like that. It's very subtle. And
he looks like Levi as well.
Yeah, he kind of does. He's one of the best Ghibli side characters. You know, if we were to compare it to Castle in the Sky, he's similar to the grandma in the way that, like, you know, she acts like she doesn't like them. She acts like she doesn't give a shit about them. But near the end, like, it's very clear that she does. And that's the same with this. You know, when they're having the wedding, he's like sitting there crying, like it's really good. It's so amazing.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was really good. I And once again, just like all Ghibli movies, I like when characters are just nice to each other. I like when people fall in love just because without like any conflict. I like that him and his wife never argue. It's never about the hardships, like, because that's not what the fucking movie's about. So many movies would show you like them arguing or them being mad at each other because like movies have this obsession where like they need to get mad at each other so when they're nice with each other it has more impact. It's like you don't need to do that, you know? Just show them having a good time, and that's what it does. It's really nice. You know, this movie is a very realistic take on like for a Miyazaki movie. It's very realistic. There's like no magic shit. But all the stuff with Caproni is very good because the movie never implies that it is objectively like this is not happening. It's all in the character's head. So it's one of those like maybe it's happening, maybe it's not, and it doesn't really matter like either way, you know? It's fun to think about it like as it being real. That whole like segment about it is so cool. Like with Caproni. Both sides like doing their thing.
Caproni is a real person too.
Yeah, that's really dope. That's really cool.
Yeah, Caproni. All the scenes with Caproni is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of like led him in the right path.
Yeah, and you can draw that analogy with like, you know, like if you have an idol, if you have someone that you look up to. There are people that I look up to that like I feel like indirectly guide me, and I feel like I love in the beginning when like, you know, the earthquake happens and Jiro's just kind of sitting down and like everything's fucked up, but he sees like a little piece of paper on the ground and he's like, oh shit, Caproni got to make that plane that he wanted. And you know, it's so cool. It's like when I watch like a YouTube video of somebody and I don't know, it inspires me to do something. I really connected with it in that sense. It was very Kiki-esque for me in that kind of way. You know, a lot of people I feel like talk vicariously to me through their videos and stuff, and I feel like that's what Caproni was doing kind of with his planes. Even though he never met Jiro, he was, by doing what he was doing and being passionate what he was about, Jiro kind of formed his ideology and formed his takes just based on seeing Caproni from a distance, even though they never met in real life, which is so cool. You know, I wonder who Miyazaki's Caproni was, if he even had one, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. On Caproni's, all the planes shown that in the movie with Caproni, they're all real too.
Whoa, that's so cool. Because a lot of them look like insane.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre, right? Look.
Oh my god.
And it's just like in the movie, it says like this plane like took off then shortly.
Yeah.
Crashed.
Dude, and I love when he like takes the camera and he like fucking destroys. He's like, give me that shit, you know? Because you don't want anybody to see that. You don't want anyone to see that fuck up. And that's how Jiro feels. Like that's why he's so mad, because I love when they show, because there's a scene where they're on a boat and they're like testing a plane on a boat, and like, you know, I don't know if you noticed it, but that plane has a really weird design too. Like it's a weird looking plane. It's like, the fuck? Like there's no way this actually existed. And then you see it crash and it's like, oh, okay. So that was like a test thing. Like that obviously wasn't a thing. And then, you know, they do another test like in an open field right after that scene. And then, you know, it's revealed like when he goes on vacation that like that plane didn't even work. And I'd imagine like he's just getting so fucking mad, especially since everybody's there. And it's like, you know, the stakes are high now where it's like he needs his plane to work because it's like a competition for like which plane is going to go into the world war, you know? Like he's trying to do the best that he can. And it really is like Kiki's, but the stakes are so high, like for him personally and like, you know, for the world at large. But dude, you know, and then he goes to Germany and he sees their planes and like, you know, he's probably intimidated like by their giant metal designs. And it's like, fuck, like, bro, we can't do this, you know? There's a lot to unpack from this movie, dude. This movie is like as dense as like Princess Mononoke. It's saying so much. It's impossible to kind of articulate it all, but I feel like we covered most of the bases.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So I wanted to say that did you watch it sub or dubbed?
Watch it dope.
Hideaki Anno, the creator of Evangelion, voiced the main character in the sub.
What the hell?
I know. It was so interesting. Yeah, because in the documentary, like, you know, it's so Miyazaki's such a funny character. In the documentary, Miyazaki's like looking at the paper, like, and he's like, none of these actors work. None of them sound like Jiro. And the girl's like, you don't know what Jiro sounds like. He's like, I do know what Jiro sounds like. He doesn't sound like these guys. She's like, okay, well, what does he sound like? He's like, he doesn't sound like an actor. And it's like, okay, well, let's get a non-actor. And he's like, who could do it? No one can do it. And he's like sitting there being like a pessimist. And the lady he's talking to is like, well, what about Anno? He kind of has a voice that I think could work. And Miyazaki's like, Anno? Anno? And it's like, please. And then he sits there for a second. He's like, Anno does have an interesting voice. What about Anno? It's so good. It's so funny. And, you know, take into account, Hideaki Anno got his start into anime through Nausicaa, the giant, like, fucking, you know, laser beam, like, monster. And that's where Anno, like, began. And there's a lot of stuff, like, Anno is in the movie, like, in the documentary a lot. And they mention how, like, you know, look at Anno. He's like the guy who does Evangelion now. It's really cool because Miyazaki, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but Miyazaki says, like, you know, the documentary person's like, what do you think about Anno? Miyazaki's like, when I first saw that nigga, he was like an alien. And she's like, an alien? He's like, yeah, you don't think he's like an alien? That nigga's weird. It's just like, it's so funny that they talk about each other in that way. It's so cute. I think it's funny. And when Anno is,
I mean, he was right. He made Evangelion.
yeah. It's really cool. And Anno was like, you know, when Anno's voicing the main character, Miyazaki's sitting there like listening to Anno, and Anno's like, is that good, Miya-san? And he's like, we'll see. Keep going. You know, Miyazaki's so mean, but he really like did like Anno in that movie. That's so interesting. That's so weird. Like I went on IMDb and it said Hideaki Anno Jiro. I'm like, what the fuck? It was very, very cool. And his voice like is really good. I think the voice acting from him was actually great in the sub. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up briefly. And Miyazaki during the voice recording of the final scene was crying like when Anno was recording it. And he never told Anno. Like, he didn't tell him, like, dude, it was so good. Because Miyazaki would never say that. Because he's just kind of that old man. And, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to say. I think this was a really good movie.
Yeah. This movie's awesome. I didn't know Caproni was real.
Yeah.
I thought those planes were fake.
Oh,
now
really?
I know they're real. I thought the planes were fake. Now that I know Caproni's planes were real,
yeah,
the movie's a lot better.
Yeah. What about
I love how even his his plane failing, just like in real life, was shown. And I was like,
yeah.
You look up, okay, Caproni failed as well, you know?
Yeah. Dude, and some of those planes are so insane. It's like, some of the ones in the dream sequences are like, dude, there's no way that exists. Like, you know, but like now that you showed me that,
yeah, like that 3-winged one on the water, I was like, there's no way nothing to fly.
No, but that was like a real scene. Like in the context of the movie, they showed that not through the perspective of a dream.
I know.
But like there was some through the perspective of a dream where they're like walking on top of the wings and stuff. Like one of them is like,
but those are real as well.
Yeah, dude. Like I can't believe they are. Like that's so cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
There's awesome right here. Fucking D7 or 6. Yeah, you just click and then fucking
wow.
do the real fucking thing.
That's so cool. So is the 02 like the plane that he makes at the end of the movie. I imagine that's real. That has to be real.
It has to be.
Yeah, in the documentary they were talking about it a lot.
They're also alive at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought, I just like 5 minutes ago I saw it when he died, but that's interesting.
Yeah, the implication, because there's that scene where like he picks up like a little flyer and it's like, oh, Caproni made his plane. So there's it.
Okay.
Yeah. It tells you like in the movie that they're both kind of alive at the same time.
Yeah, I must have missed that because I was seeing that plane. I was like,
but that's what makes that scene have so much. That's what makes the dreams have so much impact, because you don't really know like if it is real. Caproni's like, hey, what's good, bro? Like, because he's real, and he's like, we're sharing. Because he says there's a part in the first dream where it's like, oh, it seems like we're sharing a dream, you know, like so. There's an implication based on the movie's explanation that Caproni is sleeping and dreaming as well at the same time that Juro is dreaming, and because they have the same passions, they have the same dreams, which is just, it's fucking awesome, bro. I love that, and I love like when the earthquake happens, like there's like a really subtle like animation that there's like darkness coming from like the houses. I don't know if it looked like oddly magical, like, but it wasn't real. Like it was just kind of there for visual flair and to kind of represent like the horror of it all, I guess, or like it was very, I liked that they did that. And wasn't there like magic shit in like the first scene, like in the first dream when he's like a kid? Isn't there like some weird like Howl's Moving Castle shit going on where, I don't know, I felt like there were like airplane zombies or something, like some weird shit was happening in the beginning, and I was like, oh.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Jiro's playing with Jiro.
Okay, cool, dude. I'm really happy you enjoyed this one. I liked it too. I am going to give it an 8 out of 10 for now. And once again, just like Grave of the Fireflies, it's kind of subject to change. Might get higher, might get lower, but no, it won't get lower. I take that back. It might get higher. I might give it a 9 one day. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Cool ass movie. Really enjoyed it. Also take into account this is the movie when Miyazaki like retired. Like when Miyazaki like kind of ended. So in the same way that Jiro's story ended, Miyazaki's story ended like right after this one too. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 as well.
Coolio. Excellent.
Elite. Well, that's all movies.
That's all the movies. All right, so
I made the list before we talk. Now I have to take into account of what we said.
Okay.
Just give me a quick second.
Okay.
This is my list.
I need to put where I think you're going to put them on my mini list. So give me a second as well.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm done.
You ready? Okay. Yeah. So we will start with you. We'll start with your list. So the way I was thinking we could do it is that we'll start from the bottom. I will guess. I'll be like number 23. I'll guess, and then you'll tell me what number what like the number is, and then I will guess the next one, and then you'll tell me the next one, and we'll go back and forth like that. Does that sound good with you?
Say that again.
We're gonna go one by one, and I'm gonna guess each one before you say it.
Are we gonna name a movie?
I'm gonna name the movie, and then you're gonna tell me what the number actually is. So I'm gonna be like, number 23 is da 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 da, and you're gonna go, number 23 is da 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 da, based on what it actually is on your list. Okay. So, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, number 2. By the way, do you have any ties? Like, did you write any of them down as like on the same thing?
Yeah, I even have tears on mine, like tears.
So, could you write? So like, if we get to number 6, are you gonna say 2 movies? Like,
No.
Okay. Even if something is a tie, separate them as 2. So like when I say it, yeah. Even if you think they're both on the same level, just pick one. Even if you don't think that one's better or anything. All right, let's get started. Number 23, the worst Ghibli movie. We're gonna start from the bottom to the top. Obviously, it's Earwig. I know you don't like Earwig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. Earwig. All right.
So then I say 22.
No. I'm gonna guess 22 now. And-
Okay.
Okay. So I think 22. I think your second least favorite is Yamada's. I'm gonna guess Yamada's.
Yep.
I was correct.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Say the ratings like as you go. Then what did you give Earwig?
Oh, yeah, I didn't rate.
Okay, you don't have to do that.
I think
No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Okay, so all right, I got 2 so far. Then 21, I think is Arrietty. That's my guess for 21.
Yep.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay. Number 20, I think is Poppy Hill. That's my guess for number 20. No.
Nah.
Okay. I have to put like an X right there or something. All right. So I have to take into account that you said no on that one. I think number 19 is Totoro.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, cool. I think number 18 is I think number 18. Now that I got one wrong, I have to take into account that that's a possibility for each one. I'm going to say Ponyo. I wrote down Ponyo. That was my original guess. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Okay, cool. The next one is Pompoko. Number 17 is Pompoko.
Nah.
No? Okay.
A few minutes later.
Pompoko is not 17.
It is.
It is. Okay. So that has changed. All right. So interesting. Okay. My guess for 16 was Earthsea. Earthsea. No. Wow. Okay.
This is when things really change.
Okay. 15. My guess for 15 is Castle in the Sky.
How that was right.
What? Yep. Okay. Banger. Okay. Number 14, Nazca.
Nope.
Okay. Number 13, Kiki's.
Nope.
Number 12, Spirited Away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 11, Princess Kaguya.
Nope.
Number 10, Howls.
Nope.
Okay. It's like when I get one wrong, I automatically get 2 wrong. Okay. I guess, okay, now we're in the top 10 territory. So, number 9, I guessed Whisper of the Heart.
Nah.
Nah. Okay. Number 8, I guessed Cat Returns. Okay. Number 7, I guessed Fireflies.
No.
Okay. 6, I guessed Wind Rises.
No.
Okay. So now we're in the top 5 territory.
This is the good part.
Yeah, the good part. My guess for number 5 was Ocean Waves. No?
Absolutely not.
Really? Okay. Holy shit. Okay. Fuck. All right. It's not even in the top 5? Ocean Waves?
I don't know.
Okay.
You should know that. You should know where it
Okay.
is.
I thought it was number 5. Number 4. Well, you'll see what I thought was better from your point of view with these 4. I thought number 4 was Marnie. No? Oh my god. Number 3, I guess Princess Mononoke. Holy shit. Number 2, I guess Porco.
No.
Oh my god! And my number 1 guess was Only Yesterday. I thought that was no. Wow, I'm surprised you're shocked at that. I got the worst ones correct because those were the easy ones. And
That's
I guess
crazy.
wow.
Okay. Well, I only did 15 for you. I wish I did the whole thing.
No. Now say well.
Oh,
do you
want
want
me to give you my whole list?
Do you want to do it after you guess mine?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be more fun. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So I only did 15.
Okay, we can start from 15. So go ahead.
Or hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. All
right. So you're gonna start from 15?
15.
All right.
15. Mononoke.
No.
14. Earthsea.
No.
13. The Cat Returns.
No.
12. Damn. Not. Fuck.
I didn't change any of my answers
Yeah,
based on what I got wrong. Yeah, just to make it easier. Yeah.
12. Only Yesterday.
No.
11. Marnie.
No.
10. Nausicaa.
No.
9. Whisper.
No.
7. 8, right?
Yeah, 8.
8 is. I'm not gonna change it. 8 is Grave.
No.
7. Porco.
No.
6. Wind.
No.
5 is. I said Grave already, right?
Yep.
Okay. 5. And I said Nausicaa already, right? I'm looking at this wrong.
Yep.
Okay. 5 is Castle in the Sky.
No.
I wrote Castle in the Sky. I did write this though. I said 4. I said 5 or 4 is Castle in the Sky.
Okay. Do you want me to?
4 Castle. 4 Castle in the Sky.
Okay, you don't want to say something. You want to say Castle for 4?
Yeah, 4 and 5. Like I guess that for both.
Castle in the Sky is 4.
I knew it. I know it's that. Okay.
You got it.
3 Kikis.
No.
2 Howls.
No.
1 Kaguya.
No.
What?
Don't feel too bad. You were very close on most of them.
Yeah, same with me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you were like 1 off for like everything in the top 10. You got like they were all like very close to each other. All right, cool. So go through your list. Do you want to go through your list first?
How about Okay.
All right.
Earwig, Yamada's Secret, World Ariety, Totoro, Ponyo.
Say the numbers as you do them. Say the numbers.
Okay. 23 Earwig, 22 Yamada's, 21 Secret, 20 Totoro, 19 Ponyo, 18 Kiki's.
Okay. Go slow because I want to fix it.
I'll go slow from this.
19 Ponyo, 18 Kiki's.
Yeah.
Okay.
17 Pompoko.
Yep.
16 Nausicaa.
Okay.
15 Castle.
Yep.
14 Poppy. I know it's crazy, but 14 is Poppy.
I have to look at everything under it. Wow. Okay, that is really crazy. That is very surprising.
It is crazy, but
okay, we'll talk about it.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
13 Kaguya.
Okay.
12,
Yeah.
Spirited. You got that right. 11 is Earthsea.
Okay. What was my guess for Earthsea? I thought Earthsea would be under Kaguya. That's very interesting. Okay, cool.
10, Whisper.
Okay, I guess Whisper for 9, so I was very close with that one. Yeah.
9, Grave. Fireflies.
What did I guess? I guess Grave for 7. Okay.
8 is Howls.
Okay, I was a little off with that one. I guess Howls was number 10. That's very interesting that Howls is that high.
7 is Wind Rises.
Okay. Oh, I guess Wind Rises for 6. Holy shit.
6 is Only Yesterday.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I thought that was your favorite. I really had that impression based on our conversation. Okay. I'm very interested.
5 is Cat Returns.
Okay. Wow. Wow, I really sold that one short. That was a lot higher.
What do you think Cat was?
I thought Cat was number 8. I put that a lot lower.
4 is Mononoke.
Okay. I thought Mononoke was number 3.
3 is Ocean Waves.
3 is Ocean Waves. Okay, I wasn't too far off with that one.
2 is Marnie.
Okay. I thought Marnie was 4. Okay.
And 1 is Porco.
Porco! Oink, oink. Okay, shit. Wow. All right.
Yeah. So
okay.
With Poppy, I actually like. I was thinking about Poppy.
Mm-hmm. Be honest.
And it did double back, and that was a huge letdown. But I still enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoyed it. I thought the movie was fun.
Okay.
I thought it was a cool ride. I like the animation.
Yeah. I understand that not a lot of people have the same point of view that I have. And I've been thinking about Poppy a lot too when making my list. And I was thinking about other people's perception when making yours. And I can understand that a lot of people don't see Poppy the way that I see it. And I was very mean in my discussion, which I wish I was a little bit calmer when I talked about it. But I understand people liking Poppy. I still feel the way that I feel about it. I still stand by everything I said. But
everything you said is very true. With the double backing, is very true. But if I was gonna go rewatch these movies, like I'd rather rewatch Poppy over Castle,
right.
Pompoko. And the thing is with Nausicaa as well, like I already told you I'm gonna rewatch Nausicaa.
Right.
That's subject to change.
Oh, I didn't even know. I didn't even know you said that. Did you say that in our discussion?
Yeah, because remember I was like, we watched Mononoke and then we watched this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give this movie another chance. I'm gonna watch it at a later date.
Okay. What other movies?
I don't feel like it's a 16, but because of like how I watched it, it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kiki. I just don't like Kiki.
I know. Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that one.
And Pompoko had an edge on Kiki because Pompoko was funny.
Yeah.
That was it. Just had that edge.
Yeah.
And Porco, I thought you knew that was my favorite. I thought you knew my top 3 was Porco, Marnie, Ocean.
I guess I was wrong. My top 5 for you were Ocean, Marnie, Princess, Porco, Only Yesterday. Was I wrong about? I guess I was. Only Yesterday was a 6 and not in a 5. Cat Returns. I underestimated the fucking cats on 2 legs.
I love Cat Returns. It's my first Ghibli.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was wrong about the top 3 and the top 4. I really I
don't blame you for that. Only Yesterday.
Yeah. I really thought Only Yesterday would be your favorite. I'm still like,
I don't blame you. I know how passionate I spoke that day.
yeah,
I still like. I feel like the top. I feel like top six. I spoke passionate about all of them,
yes, you did. I think,
especially Ocean Waves.
yeah,
Putting Marnie over Ocean Waves was just a big decision for me.
yeah, I put Marnie over Ocean Waves in my guess. I thought that you would pick Marnie over Ocean Waves.
And,
So my top.
also, let me say one thing. Wind Rises. I think Wind Rises perfect where it is. Howls. I know when we first spoke about Howls, I didn't talk highly of it.
Yeah.
But if I was gonna rewatch any of these movies, I would rewatch Howls.
Yeah. Okay.
Over everything under it.
Mm-hmm.
Grave and Grave and Whisper of Heart. I feel like Whisper of Heart. Whisper of Heart is like in the same category of like Only Yesterday in Ocean, but like they just had the edge on it. I love Whisper of Heart. Though.
Yeah.
It had to crack my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my top 10. I think my top 10 is like so valid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's set in stone.
Cool. That's good. I'm glad to
Depending
hear.
how when I watch Nausicaa, but yeah.
Right. I when it comes to I like what you said about like, some of these are going to change cuz you know, your first impression of them wasn't super strong, but they might change with the second one. I feel that with a lot of the ones on my list as well. I think that a lot of the ones on my list are going to change possibly on rewatch. I think some of them might get better with a second viewing. Especially after watching some of them, and especially after watching the documentary, like it's reshaped my perspective on like a lot of the ones I rated pretty low. So
yeah.
I like what you said about that. Yeah, this is not set in stone. It's subject to change. So, I'm not gonna get like too tilted if something is like lower than something else. Because I get it. I respect your opinion, and I also understand that some of them you're iffy on, especially like Nausicaa and stuff. So
yeah, but
yeah,
the main takeaway from this is that top 7 is like
ironclad.
It's like I wrote right here. I wrote 1 through 7 is the god tier
Right.
of Ghibli.
Yeah.
I wrote 8 through 12. That's House to Kaguya. I said that's the elite tier.
12 is Spirited Away?
Huh?
Isn't 12 Spirited Away?
Oh, it's to 13. 13, that's the elite tier.
Okay.
And then 14. Then I said, Then I said 14 to 16. Now I said 14 and 15 are good.
Right.
Then I said good. And Ponpoku, Kiki's, and Ponyo are decent, but are lacking something for me personally. Then everything else is ass.
Right. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Do I have any questions about the list? I'm very surprised at how high Earthsea is.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too.
Yeah, I thought Earthsea would be more in Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa kind of territory for you.
I thought it was too. But
above Spirited, that's very interesting.
I'd rather rewatch Earthsea. Spirited.
I'm happy to hear. Cool.
It's so weird. I didn't when I was initially making this list. I didn't think it was gonna be that.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's so close that like the 11 to 16 range is like so interchangeable.
Yeah, it's like that's the exact same thing with my list. Like, I feel like based on what I wrote down, like, I mean, the corrected list is different, but like I feel like a lot of the 11 to 16 for you is like in the 6 out of 10 range. So they're all kind of interchangeable mostly.
Only like slight differences.
Yeah, slight differences. Yeah. Okay, that's good. When we were talking like throughout each episode, we would be like, oh, this is definitely in the top half. But I think when making my list, like, I really underestimated like how little can fit in there. There's only like 11 movies that can fit, and like the top 5 are ironclad, right? So when you watch a mid movie, you're like, oh, well, I didn't hate it. Like, this is obviously in the top half. And then you look at your list, you're like, oh my god, this is really low. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see yours.
All right. So
You can start from 23.
all right. So number 23 for me, my least favorite Ghibli movie, what I consider to be the worst Ghibli movie, is Poppy. Poppy is my number 23.
Yeah.
Number 22 is Earwig. Number 21 is Arrietty. So we're the same in that regard. Number 20 for me is Ponyo. Ponyo, Sosuke. Number 19 for me is Ocean Waves.
Mm-hmm.
Number 18 is Pom Poko. Number 17 is Yamada's. Number 16 is Cat Returns. Number 15 is... Now, this is where you started guessing. So I want you to say your guess again because I didn't write down your guess as I did. So number 15 was Spirited Away. What was your guess? Do you remember? It's okay if you don't remember.
Yeah, it's right. It's I said Mononoke.
Okay. Number 14 was Only Yesterday. What was your guess?
Let's see.
Yeah, number 14 was Only Yesterday. 13 was Marnie.
I guess Cat Returns. What did you put for 14?
Only
What was it?
Yesterday.
15? What? 15, 14, 13?
15 was Spirited Away. Only Yesterday was 14. 13 was Marnie. Number 12 is Whisper. What was your guess for 12?
I guess Only Yesterday.
Number 11 is Princess Mononoke.
I guess Marnie.
10, top 10. Number 10, Tales from Earthsea. That's number 10.
I guess Whisper.
Number 9, Totoro.
I guess Marnie.
You guessed Marnie twice?
No, I guess the Nausicaa.
Nausicaa. Number 8, Porco. What did you guess?
I guess the Grave.
Yeah, and then for Grave, number 7 was Grave of the Fireflies. So you guessed Grave for number 8, and then I think you guessed Porco for number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, so close. Number 6 is Nausicaa. I put Nausicaa.
Nausicaa, really?
Yeah.
I put Wind Rises.
Wind Rises.
Wait, what?
Number 6 was Nausicaa.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And you
I
guys
guess
went.
Wind Rises.
Number 5 is Wind Rises.
I guess Castle.
Okay.
And 4, I guess Castle as well.
Yes, and you got Castle right for 4. Now top 3.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was it? 654?
654. Nausicaa is 6. Wind Rises is 5. 4 is Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is House.
Yeah, I guess Kiki's.
Number 2 is Princess.
I guess Howl's.
And number 1, Princess Kaguya. Princess Kaguya, by the way. And number one for me is Kiki's. That's my number one. And you guessed Princess Kaguya for number one.
Mm-hmm.
I do not blame you. You got the top three.
Okay.
You got the top.
three.
You got the top. Basically, the top five, like, correct.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I knew that. Especially that top three. I knew those were top three for you.
yeah, I'm glad, and I'm glad you knew. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be honest. I love these all so much. Like, these are all like a 10 kind of for me. Like, right now, Howl's is sitting at a 9, but I think Howl's is going to turn into a 10 one day, like when I rewatch it. And this was hard for me to kind of do this order. These top three were very, very difficult. But I think that they are pretty ironclad. I feel like if I rewatched all of these movies right now, this order would still be this order. So once again, take into account my liking for each one is like, Kaguya's right here, but Kiki's like right fucking here. Like, they're so close. I like them both so much. I don't like one super like 100% like a gazillion times more than the other. So yeah, Kiki's is my favorite Ghibli movie. Not only because it resonates with me, but because, like, despite how nothing is kind of happening, I am so fucking invested, like, from beginning to end. Like, that movie clicks with me in the way that I think Spirited Away and like other movies click with like everybody else. Like, this, I said it before, this is my Ocean Waves. Like, this is my fucking movie that I really like. And Kaguya is also that, but Kaguya's a leg down. And Howl's, I'm just kind of iffy on Howl's. I feel like Howl's, it's very likely that Howl's will be my favorite. So I don't know. It's subject to change, I know that I like Kiki's more than Kaguya, but I don't know if I like Kiki's and Kaguya more than Howl's. So
right.
There's that. Castle, pretty solidified at number 4. I don't think Wind Rises will override that, even if I change my score for Wind Rises. I think I'll always like Castle more. And then let's see, which ones do I need to explain? let me think. Which ones were big outliers for you? Earthsea and Princess Mononoke.
Earthsea in the top 10.
Say again?
Earthsea in the top 10.
Yeah, Earthsea in the top 10. I love this movie. It means a lot to me. To be honest, Princess and Earthsea, I originally wrote down as a tie. I only separated them for the convenience of like the guessing thing. In my tier list, Earthsea and Princess are a tie. I like them both the same amount, but the reason why I picked Earthsea over Princess for like my top 10 is because Tales just kind of has a more personal connection with me, like personally, because like it's so it fits kind of a lot of the themes that are similar to like Devilman and Berserk, and I really just kind of click with it in that way because of that. Even though it's not really like better than Princess, if you pointed a gun to my head, I will pick Tales over Princess because it just means more to me. Tales is like one of my favorite movies, like honestly. That's how much I like Tales. And Whisper, I love Whisper, but it didn't breach the top 10 because I do think that there's a lot. I think it is pretty flawed. I think that I can't forgive the things that I don't like about it. Even though I don't love Mononoke, I put Mononoke above Whisper because, I do think Mononoke, the execution of Mononoke and what I do like about it is more to appreciate than Whisper. And Yeah. And then there's something like Only Yesterday, which I put above Spirited Away, but Only Yesterday I like more than Spirited Away, even though I think Spirited Away is executed better. Like Only Yesterday has more of an impact with me. That's one I like more. That is one that's very subject to change. When I get older, that might go up, you know?
Right.
Marnie's pretty ironclad. I think Marnie's a very well executed movie, but I don't think I'm ever going to like it any more than I do now. And let's see. Ocean Waves is very low on the list, but your impression of that movie, I really do kind of see it as like the way that Kiki's resonates with me. I understand that Ocean Waves resonates that way with you. And I'm very conflicted in my actual rating of Ocean Waves, like what I consider the quality of that movie to be. But like I said, this list is not based on, it's mostly based on just how I personally feel about the movies and like how much I like them and don't like them kind of thing. But, you know, Ocean Waves at the very least might go to like from 19 to like 16, like one day. Like everything from, so you did like you sectioned off like what you consider to be like elite and like god tier and da 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 da.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you something later.
Okay. For me, god tier is 1 through 5. Actually, no. God tier is 1 through 10. Top 10 is god tier to me. Movies that are kind of like good, but I'm not in love with, are 11 to 16, which is Mononoke, Whisper, Marnie, Only Yesterday, Spirited Away, Cat Returns. And then things that I just, you know, I do think are kind of bad are 17 to 23. So Yamada's, Pompoko, Ocean Waves, Ponyo, Arrietty, Earwig, Poppy. So we are kind of in the same camp where I think that there are 16 like good Ghibli movies, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And from 17 to 23, yours was Pompoko, Ponyo, Totoro, Poppy, Arrietty, Yamada's, Earwig. Mine's was Pompoko, Ponyo, Poppy, Arrietty, Yamada's, Earwig. And instead of yours was one, you in your like bad section, Totoro is in your bad section, but Poppy is in my bad section. So yeah, that's like the big disparity in that sense. But everything else is pretty understandable. Yeah.
I made a tier list.
Oh, you made a tier list. That's so cool. I made my little. Oh, you made them in like S tier and like. Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting. I need to do that. That looks cool. A tier. Wait, let me see. Keep it up. Keep it up there.
Yeah.
What is the one in F? What's that third one?
That's
Yamada's?
Ariad.
No, but the second one. Sorry, Yamada's.
Okay. Yeah, Yamada's.
Oh, okay. S tier, Ocean Waves, Marnie, Porco, Mononoke. A tier. Yeah,
That's
that A tier makes sense. I'm still very surprised that Only Yesterday is not an S tier.
It's like, honestly, Only Yesterday is right there.
Okay.
It's on the brink.
Yeah.
If any movie here would be S tier, it would be Only Yesterday, and
right.
Perhaps The Moon Rises.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I know Cat Returns isn't like. Is this my personal? It's like
right.
It's not like movie wise isn't this high, but
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's my first Ghibli. You know, I love that shit.
Yeah.
So it's right there. But I'm not gonna put it S tier.
Yeah, everything else on this list makes a lot of sense. Yeah, everything else is pretty valid.
Yeah, like I think like fucking what's
Tails.
his movie? Earthsea, Spirited, Kaguya, B tier.
Right.
Castle, Nazca,
Right.
Poppy, C tier.
Yeah.
It really puts it more into like it makes it more.
Yeah, easier to read, kind of. Yeah. If I had my S tier, if I had to do it in tiers, the way I have my webcam set up, I wouldn't be able to like move it to like my computer to show you if I were to create a tier list, but you did that really fast.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, so if I had an S tier, I would say that Kiki's, Princess, Howl's, Castle, Wind Rises, my top 5. I think God tier, like, I guess if we're talking godly, I guess it's just Kiki's, Princess, and Howl's. If we're doing God tier. And then if we're talking, I don't like to call it A tier because I don't think these are A movies. I think these are like really good movies. So God tier is Kiki's, Princess, Howl's. S tier is
yeah, I just fixed it. Yeah, so go ahead.
S tier is Castle, Wind Rises, Nausicaa, Fireflies, Porco, Totoro. No, actually, it would end at Porco, and then A tier would be Totoro, Tails, Princess, Whisper, Marnie, and Only Yesterday. B tier would be Spirited, Cat Returns, and Yamada's, and then C tier would be like Pom Poko and Ocean Waves, and then like fuck this movie would be Ponyo, Arrietty, Earwig, and Poppy. Yeah, I'll make my tier list eventually. I just
slightly changed mine.
Maybe on like the
God tier. So top 3 is a God tier.
Right.
I bump up Whisper,
right.
Wind, and
yeah,
this makes it a lot better.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. That's really cool. All right, dude. Yeah, I'll put my tier list like on the screen, like when editing. Like I'll put it in the video. All right, dude. That's it. That's really cool. We have a list. We have a fucking list, man. You know, I really just want to drive home the point that there's a lot that are subject to change, and these are all there's a lot of movies on both of our lists that we might change our opinions on as time goes on. Movies are not determined solely by your first viewing. They're determined by multiple viewings, and opinions change. And my opinions might change on a handful of movies on my list, but for the most part, even my top 3 and their like arrangement. But in terms of the tiers, most of them are pretty ironclad, except for like Only Yesterday and Ocean Waves. I kind of want to put Only Yesterday in S tier, but I have to give that one more watch. I have to give that a little bit of time. Ocean Waves, I kind of want to put in like B tier, but you know, for now it's excuse me, yeah, B tier. Yeah, Only Yesterday and Ocean Waves are the 2 ones that like might change. Those are like the 2 big ones that like might go up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. That's fucking it. There were a couple things I kind of wanted to say about the documentaries because I thought they were kind of interesting. In the documentary for the Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, you know, Kaguya and Ren Wises both came out in 2013, and Ghibli was kind of doing this thing where it's like Miyazaki's got a movie and Takahata's got a movie. Takahata's been working on Kaguya much longer than Miyazaki was working on Wind Rises, and a lot of people shit talk Takahata in that movie. A lot of people are like, Takahata doesn't get shit done. Like he doesn't, when we say like the movie has to come out this day, it's not going to come out that day. And people are like getting really upset. Takahata's like not in the movie. Like he's not in it like at all. Because he's just not around. And it's like people no one ever calls him lazy, but people are like saying like it doesn't feel like he wants to finish it, which is no one really understands why. But there's a documentary on the making of Kaguya with Takahata, like a full thing that's like even longer than the one that I watched with Miyazaki. So I'm gonna check that out eventually. But I thought that was so interesting that they called that like, and Miyazaki, he's like, Miyazaki himself like kind of shits on Takahata a lot in this movie, where he's like, Takahata's like not doing his job, and the documentary person's like, oh, but you never abandoned him, like you're always there for him, right? And Miyazaki's like, I abandoned him a long time ago. I abandoned him as a filmmaker. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, like I don't respect him as a filmmaker. And that's, and he was saying, look at Kaguya, like he's not even trying to finish it. Look at me, like I come here 6 days a week. And I'm like, fuck, I need more context. I still love Kaguya. It will always sit there in my heart. I still think he cared about the movie, but I don't know, maybe he, he's more depressed than Miyazaki. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. But Miyazaki said like, when he finished Yamada's, he left the house, he left like the studio like a mess. And Miyazaki's like, I would never do that. And I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting. And Hideaki Anno is having like playful conversation with like the producers, like Suzuki and stuff. And he's like, so how's Takahata doing on Princess Kaguya? And Suzuki just looks at Anno like how he's doing. And Anno's like, yeah, I know. it's like everybody kind of knows that he's like lazy and stuff. And yeah, I don't want to call him lazy because no one in the movie actually uses that word, but it feels like that's what people are saying. And like someone was saying like, he has problem with schedules and his behavior is a problem. Like he literally says his behavior. So like, I don't know. I think that's just really interesting. But, regardless of all the shit talk, he did kind of, Studio Ghibli wouldn't exist without him. Like he found Miyazaki, he found Suzuki, he got them together, right? So, you gotta owe it to the guy. He kind of started this whole thing. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I thought that was something that was important to mention.
Yeah.
It might go to show why he has less movies than Miyazaki, He only has 5. Miyazaki has like 10. And
apparently Miyazaki's coming out with another movie.
Yeah. Apparently he's coming out with another movie. The whole point of Kingdom of Dreams was to be like, Miyazaki's retiring. This is the end of Studio Ghibli. But then 5 years later, they made another documentary called Never Ending Man, Hayao Miyazaki. And he comes back. And basically in that documentary, Miyazaki's saying like, it's so boring. That's the only reason why I'm coming back. Like, I don't enjoy my life. Like, I'm so bored. I just want to do something. And that's why he's making a movie again. Because
it's called How You Live.
Yeah. I hope he finishes
How
it.
Do You Live?
How Do You Live? That's going to be really, really good if that ever comes out.
We're gonna have to remake our list.
Yeah, we are. What was I gonna say? I didn't rewatch The Never Ending Man, Hayao Miyazaki, and honestly, unless you personally are interested in the documentary, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's not like it's not saying anything super profound. It's just kind of like, hey, do you want to see what it's like at Studio Ghibli when they make a movie? And like, it's like that. And it's very honest and sincere. Like other people who work at the studio, like there's like one of the side workers, like she's saying like, a lot of people can't meet Miyazaki's demands. A lot of people get overwhelmed and just like quit Studio Ghibli. Like a lot of people think this is like the most magical place on earth, but it's very overwhelming for a lot of people. A lot of people can't deal with it. And it's very interesting that people say that. But I will say Never Ending Man, Hayao Miyazaki, from what I remember, is something that is worth the watch because it's very funny. Because Miyazaki is making Miyazaki made a 3D animated movie called, not movie, short. He made like a 3D animated short, and that documentary is like, I'm going to try to make a 3D thing. So instead of drawing on paper like he usually does, it shows Miyazaki like trying to use a tablet, and his boomer ass is like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. And people like keep trying to teach him like how to use it, and he's like struggling. So it's fun. It's fun to see Miyazaki try to do that. And there are so many funnier moments where Miyazaki's like being mean in those. There was like one clip in Neverending Man, Hayao Miyazaki, where someone goes up to him and is like, "Sir, I can't draw this. Like, I don't know how to do this." And he's like, "You don't know how to do this? It's fucking Studio Ghibli. You better figure out how to do it. Go do your fucking job." Like, it was like, oh my god, like he's so much more mean in that one, and it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch him be an asshole. But Manny, there's this iconic clip that even if you don't watch this movie, you should go on HBO Max and just like fast forward to this part. He has a meeting with someone where someone like talks to him about like, dude, I created this algorithm, this AI algorithm that can make things move like on their own. So he creates this like algorithm and puts it into like a 3D like engine where a human body is like rolling like across like the ground in a really grotesque, like weird, like something that you'd only see in like video game development, like in a super unrealistic way. And he's like, the body is rolling automatically through this algorithm, and like, it would save time for animation if you wanted to do something like that. Like maybe this could be like a zombie or something. And Miyazaki is like folding his hands, like looking at it, and he's like, being judgmental as shit. And like, so the guy's like, so what do you think? And Miyazaki, you're scared for what he's going to say. Miyazaki's like, I have a friend who is disabled from the neck down, and to the extent where when he wants to give me a high five, he can barely move his hand. This makes me think about him. And it's so like, the room is so silent, it's so dramatic, it's so scary, and it's so sad because like, you understand what Miyazaki is saying. Like, he's being like asshole Miyazaki, boomer, but you get it because it's like, dude, look at his movies. How could you show him this thing that artificially creates stuff on its own? Miyazaki's probably sitting there like, so my animation means nothing to you? Like my blood, sweat, and tears, you're gonna fucking do with an algorithm? Like he's sitting there like, and then he looks at the guy, he's like, what's wrong with you? Like, how could you make this? And it's when you think about what he says in like Wind Rises and stuff, it's oh my, it's so much more like, it makes so much more sense like why he says that. And the dude starts crying. Like he starts crying in the fucking room, like on camera. He's like, dude, I didn't know, like I just wanted to make you happy. And it's like, well, this didn't make me happy. This makes me really fucking mad. It's so, you gotta like watch it. It's hard to explain. It's so crazy. That's like, I didn't even watch it recently. I watched that like years ago, but I was watching that in the theater. I was like, oh my god, like it was very crazy.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's cute. It's fun. There was also a scene in the Kingdom of Dreams and Madness with Goro. Goro's in that movie for one scene. And the one scene he's in is like a heated argument with like the producers. Where like it doesn't show you the full conversation, so you don't have the full context. But like from what I could gather, the implication was like the producer was telling Goro like, I don't want to be part of the creative process on this one for whatever reason. But like my takeaway was like, maybe he was saying that because he doesn't want to have his name attached to like a Goro Miyazaki project because of like his previous things. And Goro was like so offended, and he was like getting so upset that he like said that. It was just such an awkward situation. And it's like, oh boy, the one Goro clip has to be like this negative thing. It was really sad. And you have to take into account, like, that was talking about Earwig, where he's like, I think you should be the creative force on this one. I don't want to be a part of this. And it's like, huh. I wonder how that went. 1 out of 10. So, Yeah. It's just a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
If you don't know a lot about Studio Ghibli and you want to know the history of Ghibli, I'd recommend that movie. Honestly, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, so a lot of the stuff that the movie said I kind of already knew, but it was still an interesting watch. So, but the subtitles are out of sync on HBO Max, so you have to fucking it's whatever. I don't know about Neverending Man, Hayao Miyazaki, but at least for that one they were. I had to rent it. And after this, to celebrate, instead of popping a champagne bottle, I'm canceling my HBO Max because I'm done. I don't want to pay for that service anymore with all these fucking out of sync subs. But
well, you should watch Memento before you get rid of it.
I should, and I think that should be what we talk about next episode, because we're gonna watch Jobless, right?
Yeah.
So Jobless will be what we talk about. We'll talk about Jobless. We'll talk about Memento. And do you want to pick a third, like an anime movie?
You can watch Sword of the Stranger.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to watch Sword of the Stranger.
Oh my god, dude.
What's up?
I Funimation.
Uh-oh. Are they on your bad side again?
On my bad side, bro.
Oh.
I downloaded the episodes to watch at work, Demon Slayer. And the subtitles are like at a 10-second delay.
Oh,
like,
man.
No joke. Later, like,
yeah.
I'll be like, hold on. And the subtitles, it's like, bro.
That's so bad.
Unacceptable. But yeah, I guess I just won't download episodes. I'll just download Crunchyroll episodes because the Crunchyroll downloader is very good. But Demon Slayer is on a good run. New episode today. I didn't watch. And Attack on Titan is the greatest show of all time.
I would like to, when we talk about Attack on Titan, I would like to have it be when it's over. So I have the Blu-ray for season 4 part 1 is on its way. So I was going to start Attack on Titan like today, but I think I'll just watch Jobless. We'll talk about Jobless because I don't want to catch up to Attack on Titan and then be caught up and then want to talk about it but not be able to talk about it because I'm saving it for like when we finish it. So I'll just wait till it's over and then we'll talk about it when it's over. Yeah.
That show is incredible.
I am glad you are enjoying it, and I'm glad that it's good. I'm excited.
It's the best show of all time. It's like,
yay!
It's not even done, but it surpassed Steins Gate for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Steins Gate was my favorite show for like 6 straight years, but it's been dethroned by Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I don't have like a list. Like you have a very like thought out like list of like your top like 50 and stuff. I don't have a thought out list of like what my favorite. I know what are 10 out of 10s and what are 9 out of 10s, but I don't have it like in chronological order. Like Devilman is my personal favorite, but I don't know like you know, if other 10 out of 10 shows. I think the only other 10 out of 10 anime is Bebop. I don't think I've given anything else a 10. So I guess it's just Bebop and Devilman as my number 2, but most of the anime I like that I think would be a 10 now, I've kind of forgotten, so I need to like rewatch them. So yeah. That's interesting.
Man, Attack on Titan is.
I'm very excited for the discussion. I really want to start it. I kind of want to start it right now.
It's gonna be like its own episode, bro.
Yeah, like a whole thing, like a whole episode. Yeah. How many episodes is it gonna have?
I don't
know. Okay. I really want.
I'm still waiting on JoJo Part 6. Wait, I haven't started. Wait for that. Demon Slayer. I'm watching Dress Up Doll.
Dress Up Darling.
Dress Up Darling. That show is funny. That's a good one. Demon Slayer is on a roll right now. You know anything what was going on with Demon Slayer?
Nope. I see the poster, but I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many episodes is Demon Slayer gonna have? Because isn't this arc like really short? Apparently.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. So.
But this season of anime is really
cool.
Good.
Yeah.
It's like playing Clear and Dressing Down.
Yeah, I don't know. Should I? It would be fun to talk about it with you, but I think it would be best if we just had one big Chungus discussion rather than talk about it a little bit every week. So.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Right now, I gotta watch Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, and I gotta take a shower.
Yeah. Okay. So, for next episode, do you know what you're gonna watch Sword of the Stranger on? Do you or you're just gonna find it? Okay. Oh, it is. Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. So
I just want to download it. I'll just like watch it.
So since Jobless, how far are you in Jobless?
Like 4 episodes in.
To the new season. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to finish Jobless by the end of the week?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would have
I
would have to hold off on my book because I read my book at work.
Okay.
I can do that.
No, actually, it's okay because this weekend, I think I'm going to be busy. So we'll have to save it for next weekend. Let's do 2 weeks from now, next weekend.
Okay.
Like Sunday or Saturday. Sunday.
Next weekend?
Yeah, next week, like the weekend after the one coming up.
We can't do it on a Sunday because Sunday's Super Bowl.
Really? Oh my God. I didn't even know.
Wait, no. Next weekend is the Super Bowl.
The 19th?
So the 19th and 20th. No, the 13th is the Super Bowl. So yeah, we'll be good by then. Yeah, I'll definitely finish both of those. We can probably tag on something else as well. It's like
sure.
Like a movie.
Well, we got 3 movies. We got Memento. I mean, we got Memento, Sword of the Stranger, and Jobless.
I've seen Memento already.
That's true. Okay, do you want to tag on a third one? It's up to you.
Tag on a movie.
What do you want to watch? It's balls in your court.
I don't know. I prefer to watch something that's on Crunchyroll or Funimation first.
Yes, I understand.
There's a bunch of anime movies I want to watch, but I don't want to kiss anime here right now.
Yeah, that's gonna be a challenge.
Give me seconds. I still want to watch Sunny Boy too. I didn't forget about that.
Yeah, I would like to check that out. That'll wait though. There's
you know what?
What?
I can watch Fooly Cooly. I never watched Fooly Cooly.
Wow, I would love to watch Fooly Cooly.
Have you seen it before?
Yes, I've seen it multiple times.
I've never seen it, so
I would gladly watch it again.
Okay.
Cool. So Fooly Cooly season 1, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 6 episodes, bite-sized, should be easy. I'm excited to check that one out. It's been a long time. If I watch it again, it'll be a very different experience. So this will be fun. So Fooly Cooly, Jobless, and Sword of the Stranger.
Yep.
All right. I like it, Manny. I fucking like it. That'll be the next episode. I can't believe we're done. This was, it took so long. Finally. I love the Ghibli movies, but I'm excited for where this is going to go. I'm excited for the direction this will take. I'm glad we're back on shows. I haven't watched like a normal anime in so long.
Yes. Shoot.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
I was gonna there's this movie, this animated movie, like series, not series, the YouTuber, Glass Reflection, you know, man.
Yeah. I don't watch him,
So-
but I know you've mentioned him a lot.
So years ago,
I'm
he made
excited.
like, huh?
I'm excited for whatever you're gonna say. I feel like I'm gonna know what you're talking about.
So years ago, he made 8 years ago, he made Glass Reflections top 25 recommended anime. And this is where my try hard anime came out, right?
Right.
I don't know if he still has a video. He has this one, but this is like he made one. I think, yeah. So this is where I learned about so many shows. Like he recommended like the Berserk movies.
Yeah.
He was at Steins Gate, Cowboy, Samurai. All my favorite shows really came from this fucking one video. He would recommend a show. I'd be like, okay, I'll watch that. Next,
Yeah.
then I'll watch it. So he recommended some good shit. Look, bro, look. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. This is my comment from 5 years ago. Steins Gate blessed my life. And you're like,
That's so cute. Oh, that's so cool.
fuck, I just Steins Gate yesterday. I can't find something. I need something.
That's cool.
Questions that I get a lot while doing what I do here on the internet.
Look at all these people agreeing with me. Let's go. Okay, so this dude has a timestamp. Okay, so he recommended Cowboy, Trigun, Evangelion, Fullmetal, Akira, any Ghibli movie. It took me 8 years to watch that one.
Yeah.
Full Metal Panic, Baccano.
Have you seen Full Metal Panic?
No. Okay, so right here he has Genketsuo, Kara no Kyokai.
Okay,
What's that?
hold on. You gotta spell that for me.
Kara, the Garden of Sinners. It's 7 movies.
I've never. Oh, these are straight up anime.
There's
I've
8
never
movies.
I've never fucking heard of this. Wow. I've never seen this before, Manny. This is really cool. This is like a new thing. Okay, so is this what you're talking about? The 8 movie thing?
Yeah, I was like,
Okay, I will gladly check these out. This looks really interesting. I will gladly check these out.
he spoke highly of them.
Yeah, but
And
you have to finesse those. They're not like on anything.
Oh, I know. He said they're difficult to find, but we still got the Satoshi Kon movies. You know,
Yep.
Paprika,
Yep.
Tokyo Godfathers. I gotta watch all of those.
Yep.
Then we got. I want to see more of Mamoru Hosoda movies.
I'm glad. I think that's the first time you ever mentioned him. I'm glad you said that. Those are like it's Mamoru Hosoda, Satoshi Kon, Masaki Yuasa, Miyazaki. Those are kind of like the premier anime directors. So he just came out with a new movie, and I consciously I decided not to see it because I was like, man, he's not gonna watch it. I'll wait until the day where I can talk about it with him. I have seen only one of his movies.
Which one? The Girl Who Leapt Through Time?
No, I've seen Mirai,
Yeah.
the one with the baby on the cover.
Mhm.
That one.
I want to see The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
I want to see Summer Wars. That one looks like cool. Looks
I
like
want to see Wolf Children.
yeah. I want to watch Mirai again. The one that I'm most excited to watch is honestly the newest one. Like the new one looks really good.
Belle.
Yeah.
Belly. This
Belle.
looks like it looks like fucking A Darling in the Franxx.
Really? Interesting.
02. 02. No, I'm just looking at the cover.
I
Looks like-
I can see
Everyone-
where that's coming from.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say, so.
that one looks interesting to me. I'm gonna wait until that one comes to digital and check that out. Yeah. I'm glad that you have a lot of suggestions lined up. There's a lot of movies that I have that we could possibly watch, but those are all movies that I would love to watch again, or watch for the first time. Yeah, Mamoru Hosoda's. I feel like his movies are kind of samey, like Miyazaki's movies, but I still want to see them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most directors' movies are kind of samey. You can't really ask for them to be too different, but that's okay. They're still good. So, yeah, I'll add these fucking whatever they're called, Garden of Sinners, to my watch list. Was there anything else on that list that, like, kind of piqued your interest?
Yoshitoshi Abe.
What the fuck? Spell it.
Oh no, Yoshitoshi Abe.
That's a
The dude who
person.
made Yeah, he made
Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Haibano Renmei.
We're gonna have to watch both of those. Are such try hard shows.
Yeah, they're so like
I'm gonna have to watch them.
they're like the most popular things that we haven't watched. I think Serial Experiments.
Soul Eater?
No, I watched the first 9 episodes and then I didn't continue it, but I didn't dislike it. What I saw was cool, but I never finished it. And it was one of those shows that people are like, it doesn't get good at the end, and I'm like, okay, well, like people complain about its ending, but I don't care. It didn't seem like a show that really cared about its ending from the beginning, at least. I will watch it one day.
Bro, fucking. Have you heard of Technolize?
I saw sometime when I hear about something, I will add it to my watch list, even if I hear about it. And I don't remember where I heard about it, but I did add it to my watch list. And I've never seen it. I just clicked on add to my watch list. So like I've heard the name. I don't remember where, and I've never seen a clip of it. Is it an anime?
Yeah, it's super try hard.
Let's watch it. I would love to watch it. Yeah, it's on my it's already on my watch list. 22 episodes though. Oh, it's on Funimation. It's not even hard to find.
It's on Crunchyroll.
Is it?
That's gonna be a interesting one.
Yeah. Back into shows. It's gonna be fun.
I think he was on his recommended. And I would see, I'd be like, yo, this is so try hard.
Yeah. It looks.
But yeah,
it
he
looks
also
cool.
recommended Mushishi, and that's why I learned about Mushishi.
Cool. Yeah, I do want to watch Mushishi eventually. My Evangelion Blu-ray finally arrived, so I can watch Evangelion finally. And because we got jobless and we got other things lined up, I might hold that off. Because are you interested, without spoiling Evangelion, do you have any interest in watching like the newer movies?
No.
Okay, so I guess I'll just watch Eva by myself then, and then maybe I can briefly bring it up, because I don't know anything about it.
Well, you haven't seen the show?
I watched the first 5 episodes, and I told myself I want to watch this with the original dub.
Oh, I seen it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. And when you watch the end of Evangelion,
Gotta talk about
one of my
that.
favorite movies.
Okay, so that maybe that can be like a whole discussion in and of itself. I really like, right now, the shows that I want to watch the most are Evangelion and Attack on Titan, but I know that I'll have to wait on those. But Jobless, Fully Cooley, Sword of Stranger. Those will be the 3. And then maybe Eva can wait until after AOT or whatever. But I'm excited to finally check that out. I guess that's it.
Well, for you, Memento, Sword, The Stranger, Jobless, and what was it?
Fully Kuli.
Let me write this down.
I recommend the English dub for Fooly Cooly. I'm gonna watch it in English.
All right. Hold on. Oof. Try that.
I might watch Sword of the Stranger tonight. I need some action in my life. It's been a long time since I've watched like good action anime.
Really coolly. Memento. Sword of the String. Sword Stranger. And Jobless. Alright. Bye, bro.
Alrighty, that's it for this one. I know, like, yeah, it's a very clap-worthy moment. We're fucking done. I wanted to ask you, when is your birthday?
May 20th.
Wow, that's really close to my birthday. Holy shit. Okay.
May baby.
May baby. All right. I just wanted to know.
Keandra's birthday is in May as well.
Who?
Keandra.
Really? That's cool.
Oh, the Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh yeah, you have to watch this, guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna wait till the movie comes out though.
March 18th, I think.
Here? In America? What?
Mm-hmm.
When did they say that?
I heard that in December, I think.
What the fuck? Jujutsu Kaisen movie release date US. Polygon.com. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 officially hits American theaters this March. Meanwhile, the prequel movie is making waves at the Japanese box office. Fuck. They said it in a news article, but they haven't announced it like ticket sales. Shit, we might have to talk about that next month.
Absolutely.
All right, so maybe I should watch Jujutsu. Maybe I should check that. Maybe that'll be the next thing we talk about after Jobless. So
the real question is when does Chainsaw Man come out?
There is no definitive date on Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man only has like the year written down. That is the real question though. When the fuck does Chainsaw come out?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, are you gonna watch the Batman?
Absolutely.
Okay, that comes out March 3rd, so maybe that can be the next one as well.
Batman's my favorite superhero.
Who's my favorite superhero? Yeah, probably Batman. He's edgy. It's cool. Yeah. Alrighty. So you can go take your shower. I'm going to go probably watch a movie and not take a shower, squandering my filth.
Oh man.
All right. Very good discussion on the Ghibli movies. Thank you, Manny. This was fun. All right. Next weekend.
Yep.
Alrighty, bro.
All right, bro. See you till then.
Yeah, see ya.